All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Council of Jeremy's. Folks, it is that time of the month again. And with us today, we have some very special guests. As always, we have a very special guest here. We have Force Ghost Jeremy along with Jennifer right here. Hi,
Hi.
how's it been,
Hey.
man?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. She's 6.5 months now. Can you believe it already?
Oh my gosh, I remember just yesterday, like, oh yeah, I might have to get going because she could be born any minute.
Yeah, I know. She's growing up quick. She's
I
kind
know,
of
it's amazing, isn't it? Oh,
nearly
she's so
crawling
cute.
already. So we're
All
getting there.
right. All right. And also with us today, as usual, we have Shellback Ceiling. Oh, channel Jeremy. What's up?
Well, I'm using my phone right now, and I'm also on my laptop, so I have the phone laying on the desk. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, you get to look at the ceiling, or well, I mean, I guess I could do this.
Yeah, that's
there
cool.
you go.
Woo-hoo.
Hey.
And then last but certainly not least, we have got another guest too. Oh gosh. We have Thug Life Mario. I don't
Thug Life Mario.
What the
It's me, Mario.
Oh my
Coming to
gosh.
another video.
Hey, what's up? I think I know who this is. How have you been, man?
I am doing pretty well. It just took me a minute to get in here.
All
I
right.
had to set things up so I was looking prim and proper.
Indeed.
do look proper.
Lovely. And of course, last but certainly not least, we have George Augustus. Helpful Jeremy is here. Welcome back, man.
Hello. It's good to be back here.
How's the election campaign going?
It's going good. It's a little slow. Leia's sabotaging me, but I'm trying to get around that. And I'm going to win. Okay? I'm going to win.
All right. I still have no idea exactly what what you're trying to win, but you know what? That's all right. And of course, first and foremost, we have the news of the Rise of Skywalker trailer that's going to be coming out apparently on Monday Night Football. I just received this news today. So let's just take a second to look at this here. We'll just take a look at the little sneak preview that they gave us. This is for the Rise of Skywalker, the final trailer. And yes, Miss Sarcastic Nerd, I did tweet it out. I did. But here we go. Here is like the little sneak peek of the trailer. Okay, all right. So we only got one shot.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm just
Amazing.
something about this just feels off, doesn't it? I don't know. They're just going in the Falcon. Nothing wrong with that, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I keep remembering a time when there were superior characters in those seats.
All I'm thinking is I remember a time when trailers actually got you interested in something.
What?
I know. Who would have thought
no
of that?
way.
So
No
my
way.
question is, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Honestly, like seriously, I've been asking this for months. What exactly what would it take to make this good? What would it take to make you come back and be like, all right, this is cool? Like anything at all?
There's just nothing awesome about that shot, is there? It's just like, okay, doing the Falcon, and there's nothing that makes you go, I want to see more.
Yeah, it's like a trailer of a trailer.
Yeah, it's just like a clip that someone just picked a random. Yeah, just pick a random 2-second clip and chuck it in there. There we go.
Right. I don't know.
Actually,
we've not seen before. We've seen Ray with Chewbacca in the Falcon before. There's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the thing when she was the Sith Ray or whatever it was in the other trailer.
Right.
The Dark Ray, whatever they called her. It's just that was a kind of that's interesting, or the Emperor laughing or something. It's just nothing. Boring.
Right. Well, I mean, there's not much to go about, but I was just asking about the film in general. How about you, Showback?
Well, man, I don't know.
Could you speak up a little bit?
I really could give two turtle turds about the.
Hey, dude, we can't hear you at all.
movies.
Shellback? Yeah, we can't hear you.
Really?
Nah, yeah, it's really quiet.
I'm having a hard time hearing him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Technical
about
difficulties
now?
here. But in the meantime, I'd like to say hello to you
All right,
beautiful
hold on.
bastards in the chat. Miss Sarcastic Nerd is here. What is up? Alex McCarthy also here. He's saying, what is up, y'all? What is up, Alex? Nice to see you here. Bide in touch with the usual. There. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's so much better. Alex McCarthy also here. He's saying, what is up, y'all? What is up, Alex? Oh, hey, Shellback, I think the playback is there. Yeah, you gotta mute it, the stream. Oh, here we go. It's all good, though. We also have Laura Ryan Stole My Fan Fiction Stories here. She's like, baby! Yep, that is a baby. There's a child.
Remember, no swearing in the chat. We have children here. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want the first word to be a swear word, please.
It might just be.
We're
it's the
infecting the
everlasting
youth.
Yeah. I've already been told if I watch Jeremy's videos from now on, I have to wear earphones.
Oh, God. Also, Tommy is here. Tommy, you're always here. He also played an interesting video about me the other day. Go check that out. Oh my God. It's a little embarrassing. It was on General Zod's channel. I basically, he backed out of a stream the last second because he wanted to see a movie. Like, so I roasted him on his stream for it, and there was no one in his no guests there. It was just him. And so I came in. He's like, "Okay, Proper's coming in here to save me. Yay!" And I'm like, "Nope, I'm gonna roast you." And it was great. And then of course, oh wait, I already got that. I thought I saw Miss Soycastic Nerd the other day. Matthew Schroeder, what's up, Matt? He says, play it again when Ryan looks at Chewie like, did you just sip my Pepsi? Right? Did that happen? Let's check that again. The look on Chewie's face. Yeah. So the final trailer, it's just like, he just kind of give that look, just like, did you just, he's like, yep, I just drank your Pepsi. Mm-hmm. Yep. I just licked all the butter in the fridge on the Millennium Falcon. That's kind of
someone just farted and it was trying to work out who'd done it.
Yeah, who farted? Look, I love that.
Every time I see the name Schroeder, I think of Anna trying to pronounce it.
Oh God, yeah, that's a disaster.
Schroeder.
Scroeder was the worst.
Scrooter.
RevKev Reviews is here, saying hello to. Oh, I was gonna say he's saying hello to someone else. He's saying hello to everyone. What is up, RevKev? Very nice to see you here. We also have Jack is here. You're on the panel, dude. What's up?
What are you talking about?
Oh, never mind. Anyways, yeah. So I'd like to ask the rest of the panel, like, how this whole thing came about for you. You know, with the rise of Skywalker. What do you think of, like, just I don't know, like, what like, again, what part of the movie, like, could you see being interested in? Like what part, like, what can bring this back for you?
Well, like, for me, I'm actually kind of excited to see it. No, just in a sense, because it is Star Wars after all. So for me, it's kind of like an excitement to see it, but at the same time, I know it could be disappointing.
Okay, so you have a more optimistic view on it?
Yeah, I want to see it succeed. Like, I want to see it, be a good movie, but at the same time, like, I don't think it's going to do that well because of what direction they're going.
Oh God, the lighting's really bad. Oh well, guess I'm not doing a cam today. But can you repeat what you the last sentence, just like the last part of it?
Well, I'm excited for the movie, but I don't think it's going to do as well as some of the other movies.
Okay, that's pretty a fair, safe statement. How about you, Thunk Life Mario?
Well, I'll be completely honest. I wasn't satisfied with The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi was a train wreck. I don't have any sort of good expectations for this whatsoever. But I think one thing that would probably get me back into it would be if Hayden Christensen comes back as Anakin and just kills everybody for the laugh. That would be his ultimate redemption for the prequels.
Oh, really? You think so? If it knocks it out of the park? Of
Yeah,
course.
he'd save Disney Star Wars by killing everybody.
Wow. By killing all the new characters that he created. No, seriously, that's what is that kind of what?
Pretty much. I was somewhat interested in them in The Force Awakens because they had places they could go,
Right.
but there's just nothing for them anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you do kind of have it at a dead end,
Yeah.
it's just like, where else do you go from there? Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark is here. What is up, Tom? I send you a link, so if you want to come in, feel free to. He says, I'm not a Jeremy. I don't feel comfortable watching this.
Being
That's all right. And then Puerto Rican Jeremy is playing COD and listening. Stand by in case proper Jeremy wants me to come in. All the Jeremys have a link. they all have a link, so you can come in if you want. We have Frakoff, Felgercarb here, and Benzo's here, and I think Xavier Park Sung. Very nice to see you all. Yeah. Oh, it seems like they dropped out. That's all right. They have a link. They can come back. But at any rate, I don't think I got. Did I miss someone here? I think Shellback, you were trying to say something earlier.
Oh, I don't know what it was earlier, but something that I'm thinking of now is I'm kind of surprised. I mean, supposedly, well, actually, I don't know. But how Rose Tico got dropped off the artwork or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't drop Finn off too, because honestly, I don't know how he's got time to go adventuring, with the rest of them, because I mean, the boy's got floors to wax. You know what I'm saying? He's got them janitorial duties to take care of. How the hell is he getting time off? How is he getting time off to go adventuring?
Because he's not a janitor anymore.
Well,
Or are you talking about like him in the first place?
no, I'm just making jokes about how they freaking, he had all kinds of potential, and then they turned him into a fucking janitor. Oh,
exactly. Hey, what's up, Tom? How you doing?
Hey, come on, stop swearing.
Nice.
We didn't swear. What are you talking about? What's up, Tom? How you doing? Oh, he just left. Oh well, that was.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Oh well.
That was
nice
his
drop in.
5-second cameo.
Yeah.
Yep. There we
He's
go.
just gonna come on. He's just gonna come on to censor.
He keeps coming in and like leaving like for.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. He just came in and just left. Oh well, but here's something that I'd like to bring up. This is something that I talked about yesterday on Matthew Kadish's channel. Tony Gilroy, one of the writers of Rogue One, is apparently coming in to help with. He's apparently coming in to help with. Oh, hey, what's up, Tom? Is everything working now? I didn't really hear anything. You all right, dude? You there? All right. He's got some microphone issues. But we were talking about Tony Gilroy, one of the writers of Rogue One, coming in to save the Disney Plus show. The lovely, what everyone's always waiting for, their favorite character, Cassian Andor. Cassian Andor is going to be having on the show. And Tom?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. All right. What's up, dude?
I don't see Tom. I see Old Man Picard.
Old Man Picard? Where? I see it when I look in the mirror.
I actually just see the Midnight's Edge logo.
Yeah, Midnight's Edge, Jeremy.
I see dune buggies.
Where?
Well, at any rate, we were just talking about the how Tony Gilroy is coming in to save some of the writing of the Cassian Andor show.
Good luck.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I didn't even.
we have a 199 super chat from Matthew Schroeder. He says, proper companions. Yes, proper compadres. What is up? Thank you for the 199 super chat. I appreciate it. But yeah, we were just talking about how we were going to talk about how that's a thing. And now Tony Gilroy's coming in to fix some of the story elements.
In other words, he's going to have to drain the ocean to raise the Titanic.
Yeah, essentially.
Mhm.
Any thoughts on that? Have you guys heard of this? I know Tom and I talked about it on Matthew Cadis' stream.
I think I heard you guys mention that, but I wasn't there for that long to hear about it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, on Matthew Cadis' stream.
Yeah, I was there for a few minutes. I didn't really
okay.
chat at all, though. I was just listening.
Lurking. Okay. But yeah, would you guys like to? And we'll start out with Tom because he just got here. Just share a little bit of thoughts of, if Tony Gilroy's going to come in to fix everything about related to Rogue One, why don't they just hire him in the first place?
You mean it would make sense, right?
Yeah,
He'd do
that
a
would
better
make
job
sense
than the
just
rest
to
of
have him.
Disney.
Sorry, guys, I've got to shoot off. Got to take it to bed.
Oh, okay.
Good luck.
So,
All right.
I'll
Take
try
care,
and-
dude.
I'll try and get back on later if I can.
Okay. Yep.
Take
Yeah.
care, everyone.
Having the spot
Bye.
open for you.
Take care, Force Ghost.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like we talked about yesterday, who really gives a crap about this show
Right.
to begin with? I mean, it's a character we already know what happens to him, and we've obviously seen the most exciting part of his life already. Do we really need to see Han Solo 2.0? Not really. As far as fixing this is just a common thing behind Star Wars. It's like everything has been one cataclysmic, chaotic, production after the other outside of The Last Jedi, and that film turned out to be utter garbage. So, I mean, go figure.
Right. Yeah.
Here's-
And it seems like
here's
they're
the
doing
one
this with all of
thing-
their projects.
Here's the one thing I do like about Cassian Andor. Me and him both have been in this fight since we were 6 years old.
No.
Oh, well, okay. That's fair. 'Cause, yeah, I mean that's true. It's true. But I mean, just because you have similar experiences doesn't. I mean, well, what about like the character really stood out for you? Like, why Cassian Andor? In all honesty, like what about him makes him more interesting to you guys? Like that he deserves a show. Crickets. Exactly. But I'd like to ask. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Cassian Andor's got that. He's got that stereotypical. He's not old by any means, but he's got that stereotypical gruff old man mentality to him, which is it's cool to have around, but it's not enough to give him his own show.
Right.
Let's be real, though. It's Latino or Latinx or whatever he is, Hispanic Solo. I mean,
Mexican Solo.
yeah, I'm not trying to be racist in the least bit, but that's what he is. He's Star Wars answer to Han Solo, or Disney Star Wars answer to Han Solo. And again, what constitutes him getting his own series? None of us can answer that question because there isn't nothing there for him, to have a series out of. There's 100 other characters we'd rather see get their own series. C-3PO deserves its own series more. If you want to argue. I mean, there's been people like who are bringing up even jokingly like, oh, well, even a Commander Cody series would be more interesting. I'm like, yes, it would, because that's a character that people actually know and care about. Nobody really gives two craps about Cassian Andor, really. I mean, sure, you're gonna have a small percentage of people, but most people don't even know his name.
Right. Like I call him Prince Caspian for a while, like from the.
But that's how you remember his name, though.
Yeah, that's
You have to make up a little, nickname to remember him. That's how bad. I mean, I'm unmemorable of a character he is, really.
right.
I mean,
don't even
name
remember
3
the-
characters from Rogue One besides Jane Erso.
Yeah, I can't. With the new ones, I can't even pronounce the poor guy's name. Donnie Yen's character. I don't know what the character's name is.
K2SO.
Yeah, Cassian, Andor, and Jyn Erso. Besides Jyn Erso, though, like other 3 characters.
Yeah,
I think.
K2SO.
Well,
droid.
Bail Organa is in it, I think, and so is Mon Mothma, but those are the only
Yeah.
2 that really come
Yeah,
to
but
mind.
see, and both are
And then-
already characters
yeah.
that were established before. So I
And,
should say any other characters that haven't been established or Jane Erso, and you can only think of the droid. And most people would be pressed to even think of Cassian Andor's name, and that's what I'm saying. I called him Cassio Keyboard. That's how I remembered his name. That was my little nickname, like Properhead. And I'm not kidding. I do the same thing when you come up with the thing. At least that George Lucas, love him, hate him, whatever side you're on the fence, or as far as it goes with the prequels and whatnot. The one thing you can't argue about the guy is he made memorable names. You remembered Qui-Gon Jinn after the first time you heard it.
And they repeated it in the movie a lot. So
they didn't even really have to, but it's
Right.
a memorable enough name. Padme is a memorable enough name. I mean, he came up with memorable enough names that even like C-3PO, a name that a kid can't even say usually, but they know it. You know what I mean? You see a little kid like 3-4 years old try to say C-3PO or R2-D2, and it always comes out like 3CPO or whatever,
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
See,
you could even mispronounce it too, and you still kind of get it. Like
Exactly.
CP30, you still kind of get it.
Yeah, I knew kids that called him that all the time when we were kids. Same thing with Darth Vader. It was like Dark Vader or something like that. Yeah.
And now people are saying Dark Ray. I'm like, no, it should be Darth Ray. Like, you guys can't even get that right. These, I don't know what it is, but these, I don't know, that these amateur Star Wars fans just don't. Dark Ray.
I would have said Saul Guerrero, but then you said pre-established.
Yeah, see, that's a pre-established character.
He came from the animated shows. So
Yep. And that's why he was there, so you could go, oh, I remember him if you were one of the, quarter
Now,
of
see,
the audience that
that-
actually watched it.
him and his group. I think him and his group. I would rather see a show about Saul Guerrero and his group than I would Cassian.
Yeah, I mean, there's 100 million more characters, but you know what Disney's doing? And not to dominate the conversation, and then I'll just finish up my point here.
Oh, you're good.
All Disney is doing is picking. They know you're going to watch it because it's called Star Wars. That's why we've got Mandalorian. That's why we've got Cassian Andor. The only one we got coming out that has any pedigree to it is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's it. And we should have got that to begin with. I've been saying that for a while. They should have kicked back, made sure that this trilogy was ready to be filmed back to back to back, had it all planned ahead of time, bought some time by doing like an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie or trilogy, and then been ready, to hit the ground running with this other trilogy.
See, the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is the one that I'm actually looking forward to.
People are, but people are attaching their love of Boba Fett to that, or they liked the trailer. And the only thing I have any excitement for in it is that Jon Favreau's attached. I've never been a Boba Fett fan, so to me, it's just a generic Mandalorian character, just like almost to the point of Cassian Andor, to where it's like, does he really constitute deserving his own series? And I'm not saying the Mandalorian series could be awesome.
Yeah.
I could be completely, I'm just kind of ambivalent to it just because I've never been a big Boba Fett fan.
Well,
I
I became more of a, which some of the EU guys might get a little upset by this, but I became more of a Mandalorian fan after the animated shows, the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Mm-hmm. Why would we get mad at you for that?
Well, because most of the EU guys that are Mandalorian fans don't like how Filoni softened them up for the TV shows.
Right.
But I like the books too. I mean, I'm trying to get back into it. I read them. I read them back in the day when they first came out. But with limited accessibility and all, I fell away from it. But that's one of the things I'm trying to do now is collect all those EU books.
Which one of you troublemakers is
Without the
eating
ledger.
crackers?
Yeah. Excuse me.
No, it's okay.
That was me. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm not eating. No, but
Oh no, you're good.
I will clear my throat to bust out people's speakers.
Oh, we have a super chat, $2 from the Real Nostalgia Critic. He says, my Pink Floyd review is better than The Last Jedi. Honestly, I would much rather listen to
True.
Pink Floyd, to be honest.
Mhm.
I think anybody would, because they actually have substance. They're actually pretty good at what they do. Despite me not having a personal interest in it, I can still respect, what they do. I mean, I think Tom, we've talked about this a little bit before, of my grievances of Pink Floyd, and I think they're kind of boring, but it's
I
just not my
forgive
taste.
you.
Yeah, it's not my taste. Grateful Dead is not my taste, and that is what it is.
How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
What? I don't know. That's a
What?
good question.
Really?
No, I
He's
actually don't.
just another brick in the wall.
That's fair. So there's something that that we were just talking about on Lethal Lightning's channel just a couple hours ago. This I found to be quite interesting, and I wanted to share this with you guys. Disney is using AI to correct gender bias in its movies. You see these lovely pictures. Have you heard of this yet? Have you heard of this? By the way,
No.
No, I haven't, and it makes no sense either.
it doesn't. I'm honestly doubting the validity of this, but shall we entertain
Is this
ourselves?
real?
What? Who put this out?
This was the
Oh,
nextweb.com.
actually, yes, I have heard about this.
Let's see. Disney artificial gender bias. What are other news sources? Slash Film has done that. Analytics.
Really?
Yeah, I have no idea if this is true or not.
Oh,
Disney-
that's the new scripts, yeah, but I doubt
Yeah.
they're gonna mess with the old movies much.
Oh well, no. But
much.
they were just using the they're just using that for like the clicks for the thumbnails for the article. But let's see what they have going on here. So oh gosh, oh wow. When you break down classic Disney movies, they usually have very problematic undertones. Oh gosh, this is great. I mean, just look at Ariel, the redheaded mermaid from Little Mermaid, who was more than willing to give up her voice for a man. Not to mention how Kiss the Girl, song about Prince Eric and Ariel's sexual argues that consent isn't necessary in the lyrics.
I think they totally missed the entire point of that song / movie / she needs him to kiss her. Okay.
Right.
So
What's up, Sketch?
hey Sketch. That makes no
What's up? How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
Oh, when I popped over into my office, you guys were talking about I think it was Star Wars endings or something. What are we covering now?
We
the
are talking-
stupidity that makes my fucking brain hurt. Sorry, I probably used the F word.
Oh no.
Oh,
Welcome
that's
to the
okay.
club, my friend.
Yeah, Disney is using AI to correct gender bias in its movies. This is fascinating to me. So they're using a computer instead of hiring, I don't know, a woman to look through it. They are using AIs to do it for them.
So they're trying to put women out of jobs using computers.
Yep.
Okay, Disney.
We're talking about caca, Papa?
A little bit. Look, the way I put it is there's an Ingsoc dictionary. If those of you who don't know, terms like Big Brother, the memory hole, all this comes from a book called 1984 by George Orwell. It was written long ago, way before 1984. But they had this thing where they would change the language and you had to use the current language. And if you weren't using the current language, well, you would be in trouble with the inner party, and you don't want that. And these people were basically outer party members of the state party, and they would always be shouting at whatever the government was shouting. They would always be repeating the same lines, have their minute of hate for whatever they're supposed to hate today. And every so often they would change the language, and anybody using the old language, well, you'd be in trouble.
Right. Kind of sounds like today, just like now.
Yeah, it's like they took the book that was a warning and made it into an instruction manual. That one and Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. So we're
Right.
living it.
Yep. Or George Orwell's Animal Farm.
That one too.
Clown
That's
World.
a good one.
Yep. Or even Ray Bradbury's horrible novel that I burned, Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah, I get it. That's
I
that's-
didn't like it. I was forced to read it and I didn't understand it at the time. So maybe I could look back at it. But anyways, they say here. Actually, you know what? Sketch. Would you like to read the article?
where are we at? But Disney?
Yep.
But Disney has also been progressive in many ways, from its new adaptation of movies to how production company. Okay, there's a key word there: adaptation of old movies. That tells you that the adaptations to live is not about modernization. It's a little bit of a putting more progressive stuff into these live adaptations. But I can read on. The production company is moving forward from Prince Charming type storylines. Disney has now taken a step further to improve representation by turning to AI using GDIQ. I don't know what that means. A tool that reviews script and checks gender bias. That sounds like
Scripts
a
to
nightmare.
spell check gender bias.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah,
like a division of Skynet.
Yeah, like
What is this, Cyberdyne?
Yeah, a tool was developed by Oscar-winning actress Gina Davis. What is she doing? What? Founder of the Davis Institute on Gender and Media, a research-based organization which aims to educate creators and audiences about the importance of eliminating unconscious bias in the entertainment industry. So eliminate unconscious. So like when people are asleep, like I don't.
This is beyond Orwell. He would only had thought police. I mean, he didn't like you hadn't even thought of that
Basically,
police.
natural human instinct.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like how do you tame the unconscious? It's unconscious.
Right. It doesn't make sense here. Using AI, Davis's company created the gender bias tool called what? I guess there's an error in here called that analyzes scripts to pick up any gender bias. So they don't even know what the name is because they forgot it.
They forgot to put what it was called in there in between called and that.
Yeah, great job, Cara Curtis. I had high hopes for you.
No, and the
Very proud of
editor.
you.
This is a failure of editing too.
Yeah, seriously. Like there have been articles after articles just of oh my gosh.
It's
Like
like
it was written
almost,
by Sketch. Look at all those typos.
Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, I don't get paid for this. I'm just commenting.
Right.
They get paid for that. They shouldn't have the typos.
do you remember that? Do you remember that Bechtel test thing that they started doing a while ago?
Oh yeah, I had a class, a screenwriting class where that was graded.
Yeah,
That was part of my grade.
It sounds like they're using an AI to sort of passively apply that to basically everything they write.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to apply it to a script, you would have to have like a data set of acceptables and unacceptable words, which is where I get with the dictionary, the IngSoc dictionary. So I think it's a combination of what you say and what I was saying. Yeah, definitely.
Right. Anyways, I shall continue with the article if
Sorry
I
to
even
interrupt.
want to. Oh gosh, no, you're good. Oh geez, the tool which was developed. Oh, did I miss something? I don't care. It counts the number of male and female characters and then evaluates whether the breakdown is representative of the actual population. This is something that a human should do if you want to do this.
No, and the population of where? You're supposed to try to sell this stuff worldwide.
Right, the population of the world.
If it's actually representation of the population, then they need to scale way back on all the LGBTQ, AAI, LMNOP representation.
No, but they get like a plus 10 card. They get a plus thingy. I mean, look, these people, they're not. Look, I mean, just to be clear, these people are not about caring about Black people unless they have the right opinion, LGBTQ unless they have the right opinion. It's about the right opinion. The excuse that is used for marginalizing people is this whole no, it's the right thing to do. We're doing it for PC, but that's not what it's about. Because if it doesn't matter how gay you are, if you like Trump, they're gonna deperson you. It doesn't matter how black you are. If you like Trump, they're gonna deperson you, right? So these people that are creating these algorithms claim to be supporting a positive bias for some races, but it's not that at all. It's all political.
Well,
Right.
even if Orange Man Bad is not involved, you know, if you say that you're, you know, anti SJW,
Yeah, but that's a figurehead. I mean, he'll be gone in what, 8 years? Now the capitalism versus socialism debate is eternal. I mean, Orwell wrote about it in the 40s and the 50s, called the book 1984, and we're living it. I'm not talking about the figureheads, Orange Man, Hillary. They don't matter. In the long run, all they get is 8 years tops. But this pushing the narrative that you can deperson people because they don't like the new Star Wars, and it doesn't matter how they live their lives, what color they are. They don't care about any of these things. They care if you agree or disagree. And
Helpful Jeremy, can you please mute when you're eating?
And that's the thing too, because like, you know, all this quote unquote representation or whatever. You know, back in 1980, right? Back in 1980, when The Empire Strikes Back hit the theaters, and we got introduced to Lando Calrissian, you know, a black man, okay? He was the head honcho of an entire city and a mining operation.
What?
Okay.
There was no black people in old Star Wars. You're kidding.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't
Never
remember.
was there
What?
ever
What?
any kind of people other than
Okay.
white or British in Star Wars, according to
Okay,
kids
so-
nowadays. I'm kidding,
So there
of
was
course.
this
Sorry.
White
Okay,
or
so there was
British.
there was this severely tanned, really curly-haired individual.
Lando's
Oh.
not black. He's
Yeah,
just,
he's white.
he's
Well,
just
I was
tan, like
just going
you
to say
said.
there was apparently never any woman in Star Wars either.
No, Princess
yeah.
Leia is not a
it was
woman.
Justin Trudeau the whole time.
She's a princess. She don't
Judge.
count.
She's just a man.
Actually,
Right,
Justin
right.
Trudeau played Mon Mothma.
I bet. Oh man.
Oh.
Sorry.
All
I
right,
didn't mean to
all
break-
you Canadians, send your hate mail too.
We're not in Star Wars, eh? That's bullshit, eh?
Let's
Hey,
finish real quick. Nearly every sector of our society has a huge gender disparity, particularly in leadership positions. So
Yeah.
how long is it going to take to correct that, to reach parity? No matter how hard we work, we can't snap our fingers and suddenly half the corporate boards are women. It's going to take a long time to make some of these changes. How about the
they've
first
reached
step?
parity already. Oh, parity.
no, hey, they're right.
Oh.
They're right. I don't see any women in waste management. All my garbage men are men.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
We
I
need a
don't-
little parity. We need a little, diversification. They only want it at the top. That's not fair. They should get down and dirty down here too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
women should be everywhere.
Exactly.
I have seen some women on the trash trucks, but
Oh my
well,
God! Don't tell me
you
they're
know.
driving.
No longer can you be a coal miner's daughter. You must be a coal mining daughter. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and maybe it's going to take a longer time to make some of these changes because you are not using women to check your gender biases in your movie scripts. Instead, you are using an AI. So
Exactly.
there we go.
Yeah.
That's I mean, end of discussion there. Like,
Yeah,
Look,
obviously.
if you go deep into it, a lot of these groups, like me, for example, I'm Black Puerto Rican, right? But these people don't represent me. I mean, I've been on the left on a lot of issues. I was absolutely
Cassian
on the left
Andor
before.
Cassian Andor doesn't represent you at all?
No, God no. And Poe Dame Tequila. Not neither. I mean, I'm nothing like Poe Dame Tequila, Dame Ron, Dame, drink some alcohol.
You don't
because
make
that's
your
that name.
mama jokes on a regular basis or
Oh, well,
stand
yeah,
up
I
to
do.
female
Oh, of course
authorities
that.
or
No, yeah, that's
You're
that's
not
true.
some murdering thief like Cassian Andor. I'm
No.
taking
Yeah.
it back.
Only on Call
Yeah.
of Duty.
Yeah, where are the Madre jokes, man? Where are the Madre jokes?
Oh, but that isn't nearly as offensive as I find this to be. You guys know what this is. We know.
What do you mean, you guys?
You guys know.
Yeah, what do you mean, you guys?
Oh my. Fair enough. Fair
That's
enough.
one
but
step away from you people.
I'm not even a person. I'm a stuffed Mario.
Oh,
Well, there
right.
you go. See, you're even singling out non-human entities.
Yeah,
But
The
jeez.
Tortoise
Let's-
section of this community is offended.
Yeah.
Ain't that right,
You
Showman?
know, I would like to bring up the fact that ever since Mario came in here, I have been a little uncomfortable considering his behavior towards turtles in the past.
Yeah, he has been pretty racist against turtles.
Oh, true.
I would just like to put that out there.
Well,
so into Heroes in a
Just-
Half Shell, huh?
Just remember, this turtle has a saber. So
He was saying some nasty shit about lizards and gorillas too.
yeah.
Ooh.
Oh my God, there's a gorilla with 6 guns out there. I don't know if you guys know.
Right. At any rate,
Wait,
yeah, let's
check out 6 Gun Gorilla on Indiegogo. It's just quick, promo. Okay, let's go back into it.
Oh yeah.
For those kids who are too young to get that reference, Mario actually was in Donkey Kong first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
And
Hey,
for some
I-
reason, Mario keeps getting his girlfriend stolen by overgrown animals.
So
I don't
yeah,
know what
well,
that says about him in the bed, but
Yeah.
I think she's cheating on him with furries.
might.
it's possible. Very
possible.
possible. But this yeah, go ahead.
Does that mean Mario is secretly discriminatory against small people?
I don't know,
Definitely
he's
against
pretty small
furries.
himself.
I just think Mario, you have some harbored aggression towards animals because you keep losing
Right.
women to them. I mean,
I'm surprised PETA hasn't come knocking on Mario's door.
yeah, he's just
Oh,
walking
right.
around squishing turtles and shit. He's like, they stole my girlfriend.
Right.
Give
No,
me
they're
some
just gonna have
mushrooms.
some idiot kid step on a turtle and say Mario, and then it'll be a thing.
Oh fuck! Mario made me do it.
Oh gosh. Blame Mario on everything. Blame the video games, they say.
Yeah,
And Disney's gonna be on
hashtag-
top of it.
Right.
Hashtag cancel
Nintendo's
Mario.
competition.
Yep. Cancel Mario. That's all you got to
Cancel
do.
Mario.
Now, here is something that is probably going to generate outrage and already has. But if you guys remember this, you ready to open up this can of worms?
Not really, but let's do it.
All
Let's do
right.
this.
So
Hold on. Wait a minute.
This
Okay, 3.
now you ready?
2, 1.
Yep. That it
It's-
comes from our friends at the Mary Sue.
Yes, my favorite news site.
I think. Oh my gosh! Why did they let you do this?
Not
They
only
made her
that,
change it. They made her change it. I remember. They
Oh,
said that the
gosh.
booty was too bootylicious, and she was just or it,
What?
I don't know who is behind this.
Hang on, isn't? I mean
that's
a Kill Bill.
I was just
I was
gonna
gonna
say
say-
that.
But I thought there
Yeah.
were no strong women before Carol
And
Danvers.
not only that, I was gonna say, don't SJWs hate Quentin Tarantino?
That's
That's
what I
another
thought.
good point. But they used to have a Wonder Woman out,
And
very
that's like-
shapely Wonder Woman or something like that on it. They had to change it because they got caught by their own petard.
I
Crabs
love
in a
how we're
bucket.
having a 5-minute conversation on the. on the
Well,
little
I can't
icon.
believe Tarantino's just like, I'm gonna fucking sue you, okay?
Right.
They'd get off on parody.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
so not
you're right.
only are the the new Star Wars films better than the prequels, they might be better than the originals.
Oh.
Then they say, "Come at us, bros." And this comes from Jessica Mason. All right. I have high hopes for you, Jessica.
Is this the article that they were supposedly deleting comments from?
Maybe not. I'm not
They probably
entirely
do it on all of them.
sure. But this
No,
is in
she was
response
so-
to this article saying from CNET saying the new Star Wars trilogy is worse than the prequels. And 4 lessons that they could learn.
Wow,
this is-
seen that.
yep.
Bravo, slow clap.
Mm-hmm. And this
Didn't
is their
expect it from them.
response to it. Yep. And this is what they had to say about it. You know what? Tom, would you like to read this?
I guess.
Okay.
Another weekend, another bad take on the internet, making people mad. Yesterday, it was the article from CNET that made the bold claim that the new Star Wars trilogy is worse than the prequels. It's a clickbaity headline, yes, but the points the article makes that JJ and Rian Johnson have something to learn from George Lucas's abysmal work behind the camera on prequel trilogy is just wrong. On every meaningful level, the new Star Wars films are miles better than the prequel trilogy, and in some ways, they're actually better than the originals. Yeah, you said it. And
One more, and then I'll continue because I don't want I don't want you guys don't have to read the whole thing.
Now, a lot of criticisms of the new trilogy in a bad article is about the plot arcs, the character beats of the new films, but the author's arguments rest on the very bad premise, mainly that he is talking about a trilogy that isn't complete yet. Sorry, dude, you can't criticize Rey's arc for being unfocused if you don't know where it's going. We have no idea how the new saga will end.
Sage.
New stage. That's the best part.
The sage.
The new sage will end. So it's incredibly silly to compare the 3 movie arc prequels or originals to 2 movies in a trailer. He acknowledges things like the writing and acting of the new films are better, and yet still feels fit to criticize the plots that aren't complete.
So what do you honestly, I think that is actually somewhat of a, you know what? I get it. I get what they're saying. It's not complete yet. You don't know where it's going, but come on.
Yeah. They don't even
Still,
know where it's
just
going
so
if
far it's
rumors
not
are to be
free.
believed
Well,
because they're still filming.
I know where it's going. It's going nowhere
Oh
fast.
God.
That too.
Right. And
I think they're
also,
suggesting that Clone Wars was as bad as Last Jedi.
Also,
which it
this is
wasn't.
supposed to be a comma, you idiot. Jessica,
There you
I had
go.
high hopes for you.
I didn't.
So you had
well,
what? You had 2 days. You had 2 days to respond to this article. 2 days and 2 hours. And what did you do? You looked like you rushed it in like 5 minutes. Why does this keep happening? Why?
Because she
what I like.
Go ahead.
What I like is they're like, sorry, dude, you can't criticize Rey's arc for being unfocused when you don't know where it's going. It's
Right.
like, wait a minute. So you just made the point for them, It's like you don't know where it's going, so it's unfocused.
Oh God.
Even if an arc is not complete, you can still see where it's going if there's some focus to it.
It's like I was saying, Clone Wars, when it came out, some people had their misgivings about it. Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as Last Jedi. He's saying, okay, there's only 2 of them, so you don't compare it to things that have 3 things out, right? It's like, okay, yeah, but they all had only 2 at some point. So yes, of course they can be compared to each of them when they were at 2, right? You can compare Force Awakens and Last Jedi to the original New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, because that's the point at which there were 2. You can compare it to up until the Clone Wars, because there was 2 of them. Anywhere where you have 2 and 3 coming, you can compare the first 2 to the 2 that you got and say, hey, this is good, this is bad. Was the Clone Wars bad? Yeah, but was it as bad as Last Jedi? No way.
Hang on. Are you talking
that's still
about
pretty
the Clone-
debatable. Attack of the Clones, if that's what you mean, that's still pretty
Yeah.
debatable.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
There's
Last
some-
Jedi
there's
didn't.
some-
They didn't break the
well,
rules of the universe. I mean, the
They did to
hyperspace
me.
ramming.
I mean, here's one thing that a lot of younger fans don't remember is that fans were pissed after Attack of the Clones.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember.
They fucking ruined Yoda. Like, we were pissed.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, like having them
And
swinging around and
yeah, there's moments where I will sit there and debate to myself whether or not which one's worse, because first of all, plus the point is the prequels should have started somewhere else than where they did, and they were unfocused. Lucas didn't pick a main character. He has us follow Qui-Gon Jinn for the first movie to kill him, and then we follow Anakin stumbling through the next 2 movies until finally the 3rd movie gets its footing. And the problem with that is Obi-Wan Kenobi should have probably been the focal point to the original trilogy. But that aside, at least with what we got out of the prequels, there's more to enjoy, and at least fans will generally agree on what they like and dislike, or not sit there and we didn't go after each other's throats.
I think
back
I'm
then.
thinking more from a technical
Right.
level
Well,
about the hyperspace ramming. That I just really hate that, and the tactical and chips. I just really hated that too. But I can see your point. I recognize your point.
Right,
It's a
yeah.
good
At least
point.
then, I don't remember us arguing about it. Like there was people who enjoyed certain things, and there's people who didn't. But you didn't see us go, "Oh God."
No,
you know,
you're right.
like they do now, where we have people just out there literally taking their entire lives and dedicating it to harassing people who don't like The Last Jedi.
Well, I've been
You know,
spoiled
it's
in regard
ridiculous.
to the prequel trilogy because I only watched the Jeremy version, and the Jeremy version is magnificent. Have you not seen the Jeremy
No,
version
I guess
of the
I
prequel?
haven't.
I don't think.
Well,
I have
it was
either.
made by Jeremy West Coast. I think he goes under Stuffy Scoundrel now. It's also known as the anti-cheese edition. But there was
Okay,
a
well,
proto
those I've
Jeremy.
seen some of those actually. There's been so many edits of them, but yeah.
But that's my favorite. That's my favorite. They took Jar Jar and they completely took out his voice. It's just an alien dialect and subtitles, so he's not annoying. And the alien voice is not annoying. So
Well,
all
that's-
his dialogue is either cut or alien.
Well,
They did the same with the Nemodians.
Yeah, there's a lot of other issues with the movie that have very little to do with Jar Jar.
They took out
and-
all that romantic stuff between Padme and Anakin.
That was a help, because the problem there is that just didn't work. There was
It was
absolutely
just
zero.
horrible.
There was zero like
It felt so
chemistry
forced.
between them. And the problem with also the prequel had with, I don't blame all the actors, because he had a lot of great actors, but this is one of the first times where he had everybody acting on these stages that were just tons of green screen.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. What,
this
what
was
the hell happened with that? Like that was
just
like,
kind of the new thing, and George Lucas was showing off his new technology.
and
That's
that wasn't bad. It was very innovative, but at
for the
same
time, but it hasn't aged well, and it's not
Right.
going to age well. And there's some kids who grew up with it, and that's fine for them, and they'll be able to deal with that. But down the road, unless it's redone, there's going to be some very fudged edges on those movies going forward. And I don't even mean just, like nostalgic wise or anything like that. I mean, like literally, technically, the episode 2 and 3 were filmed in digital, but at that point 1080p cameras didn't even exist yet, let alone 4K cameras or anything beyond that. So Attack of the Clones and episode 3 are technically in 1080i. They're not even in full HD.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean, there's like just certain things that in the history of it all going forward are not going to age well when it goes forward.
But let
Luckily,
me ask you a
Phantom Menace.
question.
Luckily, Phantom Menace was done on film and then finished digitally, so there's an ability to go back to that.
I'd like
one,
your
but-
opinion on something. You've enjoyed some of these edits that take out all the romance. that take
Yeah,
out,
I've seen a few. They're not bad.
Did you enjoy them more? If you said, "Look, if I had
Oh,
gotten
yeah.
this in the theater, I might have like completely shifted my perspective." Because as I
Maybe.
understand it, A New Hope is like a marriage miracle. It was saved in the editing by his wife, and this one, the editing hurt. I think the prequels a lot too.
or lack thereof, really.
Well,
Like
the
thereof,
problem
they should
was-
just cut a lot of that stuff off. It's like you screwed up here, George. I got to cut it.
You didn't have anybody to say that. That was
Exactly.
the biggest
also, you
problem.
couldn't because
couldn't.
well, George also. I mean, you guys got to remember, he's really for the independent maker, if you will, but then turned into look at it, definitely
You get
but-
yes men around you.
but-
You're independent, but you're so big that you're like, no one's gonna say no to you, no matter how independent you
He
are.
doesn't want anybody to say no to him. He wants an uncompromised vision. He wants to do the Phantom Menace was pure George as you can get. So without any without too much really say with anyone else,
So New Hope was reeled in by his wife's editing, and Empire had a different director, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well,
Uh,
Empire and Jedi were two different monsters altogether. Yeah. Star Wars was saved in the editing by not just his wife, but I can't remember the other editor who worked on the film. But yeah, because she changed the entire structure of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then Empire, there was different writers, a different director. George was setting up Industrial Lights and Magic, and I believe heavy into pre-production on the Indiana Jones movie.
Raiders of the Lost
Raiders
Ark.
Lost Ark, thank you. And that was why a lot of his focus was elsewhere, to where when Empire came down to the editing, he had a preferred edit, but everybody hated it.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's right.
And then it was re-edited, and a lot of the stuff that George took out was put back in, and that was the improvised stuff. George didn't like all the improvised stuff. Like the most famous line in the movie is, of course, when Han Solo goes, "I love you." Well, besides Luke, I'm your
Yeah.
father. But it was where the most famous improvised line in the movie, I should say, is where, you know, Leia says, "I love you," and Han says, "I know," and that wasn't in the original cut or the original script. George
Right.
hated that line reportedly. But that was the line that everybody loved in the test screening. So they did a test screening of George version and the other version, and the other version came off like gangbusters. So that's the version they went with. And so he kind of he didn't like that. So when it came to Jedi, he was more hands-on on Jedi. Like
Wookiee
Ralph-
Live. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'd say
Sorry.
Ralph Marquand, I guess, had complained in a lot of interviews before his death about how much George was over his shoulders in that movie. And if you watch the making of Willow, it's the same thing for Ron Howard. He's got George Lucas up his ass the whole time. So it's like,
Right.
I mean, I love George Lucas, but dude, you need to stay away from the directors and writers. Let them do their thing. You created the world. You're good at making it look real. You know, that's your game, man. You stick with that.
Yep.
know-
Indiana Jeremy says George is an excellent visionary, but he needs a writer and director to work
Exactly.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Like, you know,
Yep.
he has a good creative mind, but I think he kind of took control of the prequels too much, and that's what kind of caused it to not be as good as people expected.
Right.
it to
And
be.
I tell anybody, if you haven't seen it, I think it's on YouTube. It's called The Beginning, the making of episode 1. It's like an hour and some odd minutes and change documentary about from beginning of inception to the end of the film, what went into making episode 1. And you see George Lucas and everybody around them realize when they get to that point in the final edit where they're like, oh my God, this is a clusterfuck. What are we going to do?
Right.
And George says it himself. He's like, you can't change it now. It's you can diminish its impact, but you can't change it. It's too late in the game. And that's what when you really realize that they all had a problem on their hands, because the Phantom Menace was Return of the Jedi on crack. Let's face it. Like, it was just, they're more like Sugar Rush anyway. I guess better than Speed and Sugar. Crack's a bad analogy there, but like, it was everything that Return of the Jedi had, just to the umpth degree, you know. And you have this problem with that is you have diminishing results in your investment in the film. And, you know, you can still enjoy the Phantom Menace for what it is and its craftsmanship, and there's some cool shit in it. And Darth Maul's cool, Qui-Gon Jinn's cool, all that kind of stuff. And Ewan McGregor stole the show as Obi-Wan Kenobi. We all agree
I
with
think
that kind of stuff.
the Jeremy version deserves a rewatch.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
good. It
And
makes
there's
it so
versions
much
out there.
better.
There are better versions out there. But what you get with that is the problem. I don't know if it can be totally fixed in any edit without completely. I mean, it's just what it is. It's built that way, and that's what George said, and that's the truth. And that's the problem you have with Return of the Jedi is there's too much shit going on in the last 15 minutes of the movie. You
But
got
there's no way. I mean, the only person that I saw that was trying to edit Last Jedi into being good was Ivan, and even he is like up a tree because he has to create scenes, which is what you were saying with the prequels. Like, you would have to create scenes. There's no way to edit Last Jedi into better.
no.
And I think honestly, I think the new, objectively, like, from a standalone, if I'm getting away from all this, I don't hate Star Wars. I'm just looking at it. I would say that the new trilogy is worse than the prequels.
So far, yes, and I agree. And the thing is what I was kind of getting to is all the problems that they had in the prequels have been carried over into the new trilogy even more so. And that was the lack of polishing, the lack of writing, because you let Rian Johnson come in, toss out the treatments that JJ had set up to go forward for everybody to kind of follow, and said, I'm going to do my own thing, and basically painted everybody into a corner. Because that's the one thing everybody will tell you is episode 8 is basically the end of
Look,
everything.
I think JJ was
there's nothing
fired
left
and
over.
Ryan hired to just step on everything that happened. I remember Collider reports when they said JJ was fired. He was supposed to. I remember this. It's probably, I don't know if the video is still up, but they had to walk it back the very next day. No, he wasn't fired. It was always a plan to have different directors. It was always supposed to be like Logan, let each one do whatever they want. But I remember that there was like this big gossip that JJ was fired from Star Wars.
What?
I don't know about the fire, but I know there was a big blowout from what I heard. And that was
This
because
a long time ago.
Even though in the press everybody was saying, oh yeah, we supported Ryan wholeheartedly, blah blah blah. Trevorrow didn't say that. Trevorrow walked around it, but he flat out basically said, "I walked away because they fucked my movie."
Yeah, because before anyone knew there was a Ryan coming, everyone thought that it would be JJ. I mean, it was just assumed, right? There had to be an
that
announcement.
part I don't know. I think they were planning on different directors for every movie because Trevorrow came on pretty early too, and that was the whole thing. Is he was pissed because Ryan was killing Luke Skywalker, and he's like, wait a minute, Luke Skywalker is the main character in my story. This is not
from the Collider report.
Yeah, you'll have to find it unless you're misinterpreting with the whole thing of there was a lot of going back and forth of there wasn't a treatment. The word fired. There wasn't a treatment. Oh, there was a treatment. No, there wasn't a treatment. And then finally Daisy Ridley and Simon Pegg came out and said it, and then JJ kind of reiterated that recently that yes, there was a plan. And Ryan threw it out, but he said, "Oh, but that didn't make it more difficult for me," which we all know is bullshit, of course.
Yep. I would like to actually bring it back around to the article itself because one of you actually said something that I think I can follow on from.
Real quick, I'm just going to read the super chat before you start there. Comrade Commodore, thank you for the $5. He says, my car is broken. Dude, I am so sorry to hear that. That sucks. I've had car troubles myself, had it on the way back from Vegas. So, dude, I feel you there. That's awful. Hopefully you are able to get your car fixed and you won't have to rely on getting Ubers for, to get to and from everywhere. So sorry to hear that. But anyways, Thug Life Mario, continue.
Right. One of you said the Last Jedi basically was the end. I agree with that. So they say we can't compare the sequel trilogy to the prequels because the sequel trilogy hasn't finished. It has. The Last Jedi was an ending. Anything we get from JJ now is basically bonus shit that none of us really want.
Well, at this point, I think we were
set
pretty.
For the new characters. The new one is just about establishing the new characters. I think now that we made them super duper extra cool in this one, now you have to accept them, right? Because there's not gonna Han Solo isn't gonna be in it, Leia isn't gonna be in it, Luke isn't gonna be in it. Everybody's dead. So what's this about? What's this about?
Exactly.
Was promoting woman.
Everybody else is dead. What's this about? It's about establishing the new characters as the only Star Wars.
Yep.
Right. And kind of some of that goes back to that rumor that, if you guys remember, that because George still owns a stake in Star Wars, he owns like all the characters from the original trilogy. That's why they were killing them off.
Makes sense.
Do you guys remember
that? That makes sense.
Yeah, because I was just thinking like that would make everything just totally make sense at that point, because why would we keep paying George Lucas? If we have to use his characters, but let's use them as infrequently as possible. Let's make the audience not like these characters. Let's ruin them for the sake of, as JJ had put it, when he was writing The Force Awakens, he's just like every time I think it was Chris Arndt actually, was or someone else, Michael Arndt, excuse me, was saying that he had trouble having Luke Skywalker in the movie because whenever he wrote him in, he would just dominate the screen. He would dominate all the attention. I'm just like, no shit. So yeah. And
I have a CT117 here, and it's that, is it okay for me to be a Zootopia fan then? We can't tell you what to be a fan of. This is about us being able to express what we think. But to express what we think, we have to think. We can't tell you what to think. That's up to you. You spend your money wherever you want, and we will support it. Now, personally, some of us have decided to not put money into Disney. Some of us want to watch it burn, namely me. Is Zootopia in there or not? I don't know. I mean, as long as all the old management is removed and new management come in, I suppose they would still own it. I would hope that, removing these people will lead to a better Zootopia universe or whatever universe there is. But we are not in the business of telling people what to think or what to do. We're just in the business of expressing our thoughts and sharing them, because sometimes our thoughts are reformed and reshaped and informed by new information, right? By new data that comes up, by new news and all this stuff that's going on. And it's not like anyone holds the same position forever. I could change my mind. Maybe once they're all fired, I could love Disney. But we're not going to tell you what to do, brother or sister or whatever you are out there. You have to make up your mind. And if you have more specific questions, we can help you out.
Long story short, we don't care if you like something or not like something.
We're not going to hate you because you love Zootopia. Yeah,
Right.
I like the movie. I have nothing against it. And I support your right to be their fan, buy their stuff, and pimp it. It's up to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we've had this discussion, on and off for a long time. Yeah, no one really cares for the most part what you like or don't like. So, well, I mean, we're willing, if we disagree, we're willing to debate you.
No, but he's being a very nice person. He's not. He's great. How some people are forceful about it. He's being like, "Hey, what do you guys think?" Like he's trying to get a feel of the room, and that's I consider that like a form of politeness. So I'm just trying to politely say, "Hey, you know what? You can love whatever you want, and we ain't gonna judge you for it."
Absolutely, and I think that's just that's civility. And I just wish we had more of it. But some of the arguments.
Let's be honest. Zootopia was a pretty solid movie.
Yeah, but
I
don't think there's okay. So are we all pro Zootopia here? Everybody think it was a decent movie? I liked it.
Haven't seen it.
Which movie?
Zootopia.
Oh gosh.
No, yeah, I saw it.
It's all right, right? How about Shellback? Did you get a chance to check it out? He might be busy, but he's got a kid. He will.
Yeah.
What about you, Midnight? You seen it?
Tom?
Midnight might have some technical difficulties, but hey, you know what? I didn't look too deep into it, but I kind of liked the movie.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, I'd like to
It made
continue
the
on
SJW
with
building, which I like.
I'd like to continue on with the article. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm just getting back in the flow here. He says, and the critiques of the plot that are complete are bad too. So what these people what CNET said, their critiques of the films and what arcs are complete are just bad. Okay, why is it bad? The author argues that the new films have no dramatic stakes and that we don't get big deaths like Qui-Gon's in the prequels. I guess he was asleep when Han Solo got skewered by his own son in The Force Awakens, or when Rey and Kylo unexpectedly killed the red herring big bad in The Last Jedi. He must have also dreamt up a version of the Phantom Menace where Qui-Gon Qui-Gon an interesting character. Oh my God, I can't with you, Jessica. Why? Why do you do this to me, Jessica?
Why can't
Qui-Gon
you?
was? Yeah, you can't.
You know what? If that was a tweet, I would have deleted it and started over.
Yeah,
What's best
exactly.
part of this whole article, once you get to it, I think it's near the end, is this so-called journalist hasn't even watched them.
Oh, seriously, hasn't even seriously, and hasn't even read this article. Yeah, because they mention if I could find it, they're talking about
Drunk
Qui-Gon
video.
here. Yeah, they mention by contrast, new films drag characters to and fro, more concerned with self-consciously echoing or subverting character moments from the OT, like Rey sneaking around Starkiller Base and studying under an aging master, Kylo killing his father, beheading Snoke, and asking Rey to join me, then forcing them to confront truly challenging dilemmas, like Qui-Gon ignoring the council to teach Anakin, and Anakin avenging his mother, and the council saying, no, you are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master, which they should have done, but that's just me. And so they mention saying, the cast of characters is overstuffed as well, with the central three of the OT, the new and where was it? Oh well, but anyways, they mention the deaths of those characters, because we had all they did was kill off all the cool characters. If you think about it, Han's dead, Luke's dead, Phasma's dead, Snoke's dead.
Well, Anakin did what he was supposed to do according to the prophecy: wipe out the Jedi and bring balance.
Yeah.
Well, And I hate to stick up for JJ, but that was one of the rumors, was supposedly that JJ wanted to, his original plan was, why don't you have each one of the new trilogy focus on one of the classic characters while handing off the torch at the same time. So the first movie was supposed to focus on Han, second movie was supposed to focus on Leia, third movie was supposed to focus on Luke, right? That was what he thought was proper. Oh no, Disney's like, no, you got to push our characters up front.
What's
You
up,
know,
Drunk 3PO?
James
How
Larkin.
you doing?
And then the
Same
whole
here.
Han Solo thing, as much as people hate how he went out, that was Harrison Ford's bit. He wanted to kill Han so damn bad that it was going to be whatever it was going to take at this point. You know, just basically, I'll do one more. Just
Harrison?
he
He hates
Mhm.
it, right? He doesn't want to.
he just didn't want to do it anymore because it followed him around like a bad. I don't know, for some reason he clicked with Indiana Jones and didn't click with Han Solo. I don't know what it was.
I think I know what it was.
It could be.
Well, first off, Han wasn't the main character. He was one of them, but wasn't the central focus of Star Wars. That was more
Good
Luke.
point.
And Indiana Jones was Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones, I guess, in my opinion, from seeing a bunch of interviews, that Harrison had said, Han's got no pop because he's got no wife, he's got no kids, no family, no future, so just kill him. But that was in Empire mostly. But then coming back, it's just like, he just didn't find.
Well, I think that was
like-
because he didn't want to have to worry about coming back to Return of the Jedi. Not to cut you off proper, but
Oh,
yeah.
I know. But at the same time, it's just like he doesn't know. He had his triumphant moment in A New Hope, but then after that, he's just like, I don't know where else, like where the character can really
Looking
go.
back, he doesn't take a lot of ensemble roles. He's usually the main guy.
It could
Yeah.
be that there could be something to that. You could be right, and I think that was
Combination.
part of it at the time. Was he was like the one who skyrocketed with a solo career all of a sudden
Hey, Thomas.
because he was the more older established one, even though he hadn't really been in much before that. And when he was cast in Star Wars, he had pretty much given up on being an actor.
Right. So he
Yeah,
just
he was
kind of.
doing roofing, right? He was doing
He
carpentry.
was doing carpentry, and that's how he got the job on American Graffiti. Is I believe that's how George Lucas met him. Is that he was just working on sets or whatever. And
I seem to remember he almost turned the job down because he had a carpentry job that was going to pay for more, so they upped his salary. I mean, that might have been like
that could be
a
very well
legend.
true, or it was either that or it would last longer. That could be one of the two. I'm not even sure, but yeah, something like that.
That
But
he
yeah,
was
oh, yeah,
almost
they-
not Han.
Yeah, there was plenty of time where he just almost wasn't. And then as far as the rest goes, I think who was it? You, Sketch, who said something about the fandom, or was it Shellback? One of you said something
Yeah,
about
the fandom on Star Wars is a little bit more.
I think there might be
than
something more to
Indiana.
that because in Indiana Jones, if there's like fanatics, generally at that point they were probably more adult.
and less of them. I mean,
And-
it's a great movie, but you don't have the crazy, not crazy, but you don't have the wide base that comes with having big toy lines. Now, when
Right,
you have a
and-
movie and you have big toy lines, you have people that grew up playing with this stuff. That's not so much the case for Indiana, which makes for a smaller.
Well, not
Uh,
just that, he hadn't even done Indiana Jones yet when he wanted the character to be killed off already.
Jesus.
Right.
Yeah, so it was like, it's just like because he wanted him to die at the end of Empire. But that's where
Right.
they compromised. They're like, no, we'll put you in the carbonite. That way, if he doesn't come back, well,
Right. Oh, and Michael Brent, what they would do is they're going to put it on Hulu. I
Yeah.
believe that's the thing.
That's what I was hearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
well,
which is
Blade's
fine
not
to
going to
me.
be R-rated. Blade's going to be a movie, and it's going to be PG-13, like I've been telling everybody. That's out there. But they're supposed to be going the hardest PG-13 they can. But Blade, everything changed at the last minute.
Right.
So-
Anyways, I got to get back to this. It's all bad faith, straw man fallacies. The CNET article. The comparisons in the article reek of fanboy rage about how Star Wars is different now, and it shows in. It's different, all right, and it shows in the shallowness of the arguments and accusations that the prequels bias the new trilogy in any
Bypass.
way. Bypass. So why did I say bias? The prequel trilogy were essentially bad fanfic made independently by a man who didn't care about emotion, plot, or impact. What?
That's cold.
Wow.
Sorry, what again?
No, it's like
the
he just
prequel
watched all the
trilogy-
Red Letter Media videos.
It just said
It's
the
just
prequel
angry.
trilogy was
Um,
essentially
I
bad.
don't even think they even said
fanfic?
that. I don't even
No,
think they
I'm-
went
I'm
to that
kidding.
extent in the
I'm kidding.
RLM.
I'm kidding.
Panic
I know you're
made?
kidding.
What?
No, I know, but I mean, I don't even think they went to that point. At least in that, I don't even think they went to that. That's almost what people have been. They're just trying to say what people have been saying about the new movies. That's what.
No,
they're
Red
doing.
Letter Media is more about poking fun at it than like actual
Yeah.
malicious anger.
But
and
now I
just-
think they've said the same shit
people
about
are
the
angry.
sequels. Yeah, they've said the same shit about the sequels though, about how that's
Mhm.
basically bad fanfic. Yeah,
that's true. They're the only people I saw call for a boycott. The only
Yeah, and
people
how-
I saw.
How could
call
you? How
for
could
Red
you?
Letter Media?
Well, here's the thing. How could you call this bad fan fiction with the guy who created the damn thing?
That's just
How could you say that?
oxymoronical. That's no. It's not.
they're
how
just
that
trying
works.
to turn the argument. That's what they're doing there.
Yep.
They're doing
But
a
they're-
bad job. They said, "Oh, it was boring,
Exactly.
2-hour-long toy commercials." Okay, toy commercials.
See, that's the sad part. Is they have, that's
Toy
true. I've
commercial,
said that
oh my
myself. I have said that myself. So that part I can't argue. That's the problem. Is they set their argument up bad by saying that.
I
No.
know exactly.
Now, if they would have said
yeah.
it like the prequels come off like the man has not watched his own movies since they came out, that would have made more sense because that was shit that I said back then.
It's
was like-
badly worded.
Yeah. Well, just bad fanfic considering George Lucas came up with it. I'll even argue that point's bad. That you don't
Yeah.
say that. That's a bad
Yeah,
way to frame your
Yeah,
review.
seriously, and about by a man who doesn't care about emotion, plot, or impact. How could you say that? That's
No,
ridiculous.
he's
I wouldn't
just-
say he doesn't care. I say he's not good at doing it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's more
Yeah.
capable of doing it than it is.
Yeah.
You know.
It's ridiculous. And then they say it has wooden dialogue, terrible acting, the use of nonsense CGI and digital technology to place characters in environments where they looked as lifeless and fake as possible. Okay. Yeah, like the
Yeah, but
magic of
that's
Star Wars is
as
supposed
lifeless.
to
It was the
be
best they could do at the time.
exactly. Hold on a second. Yeah, seriously, like how like you expect like these big, sets and everything, and like you're gonna act in Star Wars, yay, and you're just in a green screen room the whole time.
That's what I was
Like-
saying. Is like, yeah, you've got an entire generation of actors now who that's all they've done their whole life is act in front of green screens, right?
That doesn't sound like fun.
No, but this was like the first time this has ever
Yeah.
been done for an entire movie. Yeah, once in a while you do a green screen shot here or there for some big special effects shot. But that was like one shot.
They're look at the word as possible. As possible means they couldn't have possibly made the sets look worse. I argue that they could have.
All
It
right.
didn't age well, but it could have been worse. I'm pretty sure they could have
And
done some,
actually, a lot of those sets are practical. It's just the backgrounds in the windows and that kind of stuff is green screen. See, as far as like that goes, if it's a set, the only time it's like full green screen backgrounds is if they're in a big.
I just see it as a
environment.
manipulation of the reader. If you weren't at the time and you don't know that this was the latest technology, you'd get the opposite impression that they just
Right,
did
and that's what I'm saying. You got a whole generation of people, probably this author included,
Mm-hmm.
who well, this movie. That's the way movies have always been made, but that's not the case. They don't get
Mhm.
that. It was so much of a difference.
You're
between-
sharing your stuff over. Okay.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know, it's all good.
there
I'm
was
just
that
checking
big of
something.
a difference between the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy is the great example because so much of the Lord of the Rings trilogy is practical and people don't get that or realize that a lot of times it's just depth effects.
Mhm.
Like you'll have an actor that close to the camera or far away, but since there's no depth perception in the camera,
people are calling seamless practical.
yeah. See, here's the other thing though,
It's
and
just
then when
seamless. You can't see it. That's why it was so good.
and then you get to the 2005 Hobbit trilogy, and everything was done in front of green screen. And you actually had Ian McKellen. There's video of it out there where he literally breaks down in tears because he's so sick and tired of working on green screen. He's like, all I want to do is just work with an actor.
Wait, hold on a second. The Hobbit trilogy or like the Lord of the Rings?
The Hobbit
Like-
trilogy he
Hobbit.
did.
Oh, okay. Because you
Between
mentioned
the
like
two,
okay.
Because when they filmed the Lord of the Rings trilogy, a big majority of that was actually practical.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, it was just camera tricks. By the
There
time
were
you
some
got to
in
the
there, here
Yeah.
and there, little
Yeah,
subtle
yeah.
things, but
or like
nothing
when there's
big.
big battle scenes and shit like
Yeah,
that. But
that kind of thing.
but when you got to the Hobbit in the 2000, mid 2000s, there it was all green screen shit almost from complete beginning to end almost.
Some
The
people
only-
argue that the first Jurassic Park, because he had a combination, did the effects feel it is better than just green. It's like when over usage, it just
I think
feels-
there's only like 6 minutes of CGI in Jurassic Park, if that. I don't even
Yeah.
know if
Wow.
that much.
Yeah, I mean they were very like Alien. They don't show it that much. They just build the tension in the first Alien.
And then they use this tweet as, I don't know what, evidence? Like object.
No.
Oh, that's just trolling. Wow. That just, I don't know. They
Most cohesive.
the
I'd
most
argue-
wow. Look, like they made it look great, but
Oh, yeah, it's
nah.
amazing looking. I'll give him that.
And the most interesting ideas
Yeah.
raised, no, not really.
No.
Probably the least interesting choices to answer JJ's mystery box questions. Clearly, he was not ready for
Well, she got her name right.
the.
No Dana, only Zool.
Oh wow. The new Star Wars films, including Rogue One and Solo, get back to the solid, real filmmaking and fun, complex characters that made the first Star Wars trilogy great. What? And instead of sucking the life out of the myth and majesty of the originals the way the prequels do, they all improve on it. How? How exactly? The characters in the original.
It's like they wrote this about the sequel trilogy, and
Yeah.
they reversed. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're projecting.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
I
of
could
this,
just
think.
take out everywhere where it says prequel. I could put sequel trilogy.
That's exactly what I was saying before. That's where the whole like the whole fanfic thing came in. I said they're just
Yeah.
trying to turn what we've been saying about the sequel trilogy against the prequels, and god damn it, they're gonna end up making me stick up for the stupid prequel.
I feel like copy pasting this, but changing everything backwards, and
That's what they did.
Yeah, exactly.
You think they copied this from somewhere? This is
Yes.
weird.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying before. It's like they just replaced the argument that we've been making about the prequels to the prequels. I mean, sorry, you know what I'm saying?
Like they took it
Yeah,
from
we
some
get it.
Facebook board, someone that's trying to be real elaborate about it, just copy pasted it and switched it up.
Right, and they did a terrible job copying it.
Yes.
If that's, I don't know. Like they say the characters in the original trilogy, a movie made for kids, is Freddie
Yeah,
Prinze
I was-
Jr. just reminded us.
I was just gonna say that they say they pull up the tweet saying hating the Last Jedi is the biggest self-own. Then they quote that. Then they somewhat quote Freddie Prinze Jr.
Right, like what?
It's working.
That's
I don't know. Oh, rant is a thing of beauty. Oh God, no.
Wait,
Why?
can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep,
we can hear
yeah.
you now.
Okay,
wow.
yeah, I thought my mic was off for a second.
Oh, I think
didn't hear you
yeah,
before.
it might have. Yeah, I didn't hear it either. Okay. He says just reminded us our literal archetypes straight out of Joseph Campbell. They're great, but ultimately simple, and that's fine. But the characters in these new films are far more complex and interesting. Seriously?
No, they're not.
Even the
No.
old character have grown up. Oh my God, another improper. Have grown up and advanced in complexity. Everyone in the new films is more morally ambiguous and rebellious. One might say
That's key, though. That's key. Look at what they're emphasized. At first, they said that anything meaningful. They emphasize that. Now they say morally ambiguous and rebellious. Like that's a good thing.
And morally
Yeah,
ambiguous.
you should be rebellious.
Yeah, but
That's
not a
the
morally ambiguous.
That's the original trilogy characters, not these sequel characters.
No, okay. I'm sorry. You were agreeing with me.
yeah, this is weird. And they're not majority white and male. What? Why do you have to bring that into it? Of course. Yes, we're going there. The diversity
White
and
males.
progressive ideals of the new Star Wars films place them miles above the originals in the prequels. There's more than one woman. There was more than one woman in all the movies, actually. You watched them.
Yeah.
There's more than one person of color. Those women and people of color have agency and don't just die of a broken heart or serve as plot devices.
charge?
Right, exactly. Or serve as plot devices or love interests. The whole point of the new trilogy. Oh my God!
Of
The
new
whole
trilogy.
point of new trilogy is how important is how
There you go.
important a
There it is.
diverse and
There it is.
democratic force is. What?
There you go. Bingo.
Oh my
You
god.
found it. The X marks the spot.
Yeah, I think we found it.
I think this is
Okay.
about politics, like I said
Okay.
before. I
The
think
one
this might
thing
be
I
about
will
politics.
say about the Die of the Broken Heart thing, that was one thing that always did bother me about episode 3.
Yeah, it bothered me
Because it was
about
like,
that
how
too.
hard was it just to say, yo, Anakin fucked this bitch up, she gonna die?
We have
You
to.
know, I was like,
we-
how hard was it just to kind of like put that forward? You know, I think George
And you
kind
can't
of
say it was the Emperor messing around, because he may be able to reach far in the Force and all this, but if he would be reached far enough to kill her, he'd know she had twins.
Well, and it made no point because why? Okay, first of all, and that's where I think George kind of punked out. Like I think he's like, oh, I think people are gonna really hate Anakin if he killed her. So we got to change this. She just lost the will
Okay.
to live. That's what it is.
I buy that.
Because you're right. You're right. There is no reason, even as because he's smart enough to know this, Palpatine is. There's no reason for him to lie to Anakin and say that. Because if he lies to Anakin and say that, all that does is set the Emperor up down the road for failure. Once Anakin's going to be strong and powerful enough to find out that Padme's alive and get pissed at me. So why would he even set himself up for that? That makes no sense whatsoever. So I really seriously think that was the way it was supposed to be, was Anakin accidentally kills Padme.
Yep.
His
Right.
rage did it. And
Yeah,
he
you
has to live with that for the rest of his life. And that's his tragedy.
Yeah, exactly, and that gives more weight to the character too.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
yes, there is this thing to somebody can lose the will to live. If it's like when, like when you're so many people, it's sad. When you have grandparents where one will die, and not long after the other will. You'll have that happen so often, and it's generally just it's called like the broken heart syndrome type thing. That kind of a thing's understandable. In this situation, that makes no sense. All the little doctor droid had to say is she was choked and blah 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 blah. We were able to save the children, but we weren't able to save her. Unfortunately, the trauma that she had sustained was too much.
Yeah.
To be
The
honest,
problem was the droid itself, because if it was like, oh, we don't know, then they don't know. Maybe it was him, maybe it wasn't. But you have all this technology. You can't say you don't know why she died. You can clearly put the blame on Anakin. That's what I mean. These droids would be just like.
I
forensic
really
on
think
base
George
analysis.
Lucas. I think George Lucas
He
had
was
a
stuck.
change of heart. I really
He
do.
got
In the
stuck.
editing process, I think he changed his mind.
He should have let him just kill her.
It would have made more sense, and it would have made it that much
sense,
more
yeah.
tragic. Tragic to Vader, because it would have made him, that much more of a tragic character. That even he didn't mean to kill her. That was the whole point. Is he was trying to save her life,
Okay.
and in the end, he's the one who killed her. You know what I mean?
Deep cut. I want to ask you a question. What you think about this, right? Anakin told Palpatine that he slew the Sand People. I don't think necessarily the Palpatine had anything to do with the Sand People going after Shmi, but I think maybe that knowledge, he kind of used it, and he was the one that was giving Anakin nightmares to get him in fear of losing Padme. He probably knew about Padme, like he lost his mom.
Well, I think between that and I think just he had the premonition that he knew she was going to die.
But that
Right.
he would kind of push into it. Like, I think Palpatine might have messed with his head a little bit. His nightmares.
Oh yeah, that was something George didn't really do very well.
I'm talking
articulate.
headcanon theory, fansy.
Right.
Fan
He should
theory
have done a
stuff,
much better
but-
job of showing how Palpatine was
But
actually.
between you and me and loving
pulling
Star
more
Wars, is it
strings, yeah.
plausible? I kind of buy it. I think he would do, if Palpatine
Oh
was a
yeah,
real guy. he
Palpatine's
would-
a real yeah.
Yeah, and this comment from Will Gentry will bring us back to the argument of there earlier. The originals weren't majority white and male. There was 4 main stars in the first film, 4.5 in the second, and 5 in the third. Only Luke and Han are white men. You're forgetting about Obi-Wan. Chewie, Leia, and Lando are not. And C-3PO is a droid, and so is R2.
Chewie isn't
if
even
you
human.
dress white, you're white. If you wear a white
Oh.
helmet, that means you're white underneath. They
And I
forgot
think
about
people
Finn.
forget. And I think people also forget that Darth Vader was voiced by a very prominent black actor at the time too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they don't know that though.
Colt 45.
Partially, we can forgive them because at the time he went uncredited for the first film. But come on, everybody freaking knows now that
Yeah.
James Earl Jones is the voice of
Yeah.
Darth Vader. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, and the actor was pissed about not being able to voice it too.
Well, come
In
on.
fact-
Would you have wanted to hear him in... Have you heard David Prowse
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
no.
Why. I love David Prowse. Don't get me wrong, and my heart goes out to the man, especially what he's going through now with the dementia and everything. But you
But
can't,
back in the day, he was really
you
mad about it.
can't
I'm like,
sit there as an actor and really think that George Lucas is going to use your accent and your voice.
I'd be happy to be
Okay,
a part
fair
of
enough,
it.
Will.
It would be like if I was the voice of Vader. It wouldn't work at all.
It
I
just-
am your father.
yeah, there's nothing menacing about that. Sorry, guy. You know, you may be menacing as a person, you know, but it's kind of like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson sounds like a little girl, but he's the most menacing motherfucker when he walks in the room.
I'm the king.
To
Come on.
be
I'm the king. I'll kick your ass.
Out the way. Out the way. I'll kick your ass.
Exactly. Yeah. If you talk to him on the phone, you'd be like, "Yeah, whatever, man. Come get me." You know. Then he'd get there, and be like, "I'm sorry." You know.
I'm very sorry, sir. Okay, I've taken us off road. My apologies, Robert. Go ahead.
Interesting conversation.
Okay.
Yep. Nostalgia. The article continues after, like, yeah, seriously.
It was my fault, Proper. You should have never let me into this. I'm not a Jeremy.
No, it's all good. No, it just makes it more interesting. And hearing all these different viewpoints. Yeah, I love it. I love every minute of it.
Hey, Proper.
Hmm?
Hey, I think Hammer may have one of the best comments. He's
What do you
like,
say?
kids movies always have evil lords choking out their pregnant wives.
Oh yes, and kids' movies show a guy losing his limbs and burning to death almost, and nearly dying. There's a lot of
It's like opening
amputations.
marshmallows and making s'mores.
Yeah, but it's for kids.
Well, I think somebody even dug up the clip of George Lucas saying when he was being interviewed for episode 3, he's like, "I wouldn't take no kids to this," or something like that.
Hey,
yeah.
let's look at Bambi and Pinocchio. It's pretty dark.
I mean, it's PG-13 for a reason.
And that's
You know?
another reason
There we
why I
go.
didn't understand the prequel. And I'm not trying to dump on the prequel again, but George, you knew damn well this is what you were setting yourself up for. I think he even said it early on that chances were episode 3 was going to be PG-13. Then why in the living ever whatever did you turn around and make your first movie so aimed at kids and your second movie so aimed at teenagers that you knew your third movie was going to be completely aimed at adults? Why did you do that? That makes no sense whatsoever. I
He was
mean,
only thinking of one generation.
strategically. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
See you, Jack. He had mic issues, so he had to drop out. But shout out to you, Jack. Thanks for joining us today.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
anyway, the article goes on saying that nostalgia is very kind to the original Star Wars trilogy. That's true. It's kind to everything. But we can love something, and believe me, I do love the old films and appreciate its flaws. Nostalgia, however, has never been kind to the prequels. Never? I don't agree with that. There has to be some sort of fandom Stockholm syndrome at work for a discerning viewer to think that the basic filmmaking of the new movies isn't better than anything that's come in the past, but it's probably just the same anger we see from all sorts of Star Wars fans
They were kinder to the fans, I'll tell you that.
when they're confronted by the fact that this franchise doesn't just belong to little white boys anymore. It wasn't just for little white boys to begin with. It was for
No, porque acá en Puerto Rico, ¿verdad? Nosotros vemos a Star Wars porque acá en Puerto
Right.
Rico nosotros somos blancos. Por eso es. That's why we watch Star Wars in Puerto Rico, because we white.
I'm going to
Right.
say, thank you so much. You made my point perfectly. I was going to say, I bet you there's a lot of kids in other countries who watched Star Wars back in the day just because China didn't. Was the only country really it probably didn't penetrate.
Speaking of which, Lancelotto said after this live stream, check it out, Dubras, PewDiePie got banned in China.
Of
Oh
course.
yeah, I saw that.
Along with,
Speaking of China,
along with
PewDiePie's
South
a red
Park
pillar, man.
and free speech and Winnie the Pooh. Like, you can't, like. the
So
I
this
just saw
whole-
a rant by
but-
him
but
on
back-
Texas. It was superb.
but to help you out here, Proper, to get
Yeah.
back to this article, basically that whole article was basically for the author to say the newer ones are newer, so that makes them better.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, another.
and
I'm
okay,
going to read the spelling errors at this point. Just the Force belongs to
Just
everyone.
like the Force.
Belongs to everyone. Just like the boring myths and rules of the old Jedi Order had to be destroyed, so too does the idea that George Lucas
was some misunderstood genius whose prequel trilogy was anything but an ego trip that misunderstood everything that was great about his first film. Lucas got lucky with Star Wars and continued to be lucky when he worked with other directors on Empire and Return of the Jedi. No, of course, not on talent, not on merit, not on good storytelling, not on great character development and character arcs that make you interested in the movies and don't go out to destroy what has come before. Obi-Wan was not destroyed in the movie. I mean, he died, but he wasn't destroyed. Or Darth Vader was not destroyed. Yoda was not destroyed until maybe episode 2, I guess. But it did not disrespect old characters like the sequel trilogy does. So there goes your argument.
Yeah,
You know,
this
this
is going to
might
make
be,
his characters worthless. He owns them.
Oh yeah,
Disney didn't want to share them with Lucas, so he destroyed them to make. So Disney destroyed them to make way for new characters that George doesn't own in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, in some shape, way, or form, but not like he owns Luke, like the core, right? I'm not knowledgeable on this stuff as much as Midnight Sedge, but you were talking about this earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and it can even be said that Return of the Jedi has actually got a lot of George Lucas influence. But let's even say, you know, I was not happy with what they did to Yoda, as a lot of other people were. At least George was trying to make Yoda, quote unquote,
no, but on
cooler.
The ownership of the character,
right. But I mean, I was just saying, you know, at least he was trying to make Yoda cooler. He wasn't going out there to try and say, well, you know, you shouldn't relate to Yoda because he's an old white dude.
Oh,
you know,
retcon the puppet Yoda to the digital Yoda his own.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck. That's a good one.
Right.
And then,
okay.
Oh, NASCAR Jeremy is here. What is up, man? Will Gentry says, to be fair, she had a point there. They were great because other people took George's good ideas and made them great.
Yeah, but George at least gave a shit about these characters. That's one thing, you know.
And didn't kill them.
Right. And you can argue to a point that George, you know, resented Star Wars for many, many years, which he did and admitted in so many ways. You know, but he came around to it and he felt burnt because he felt like he didn't make the fans happy, but he didn't blame the fans. You know, he didn't turn around and go, you know, fuck you guys. You just don't like my movie.
He was upset and he said things like, you know, you go out, you make a movie, try to make people happy, and then you get crap for it. And that's why, you know, he sold the company in the first place. And that was valid. That was a valid point. He was just,
he tried to make too many people happy at once. You know, as the old saying goes, you can't please everybody all the time, but you can please some people some of the time, you know, however, you know, the exact wording goes. And he really didn't take that to heart when he went into these movies. And he really should have just kind of, he should have got a group of people around him where he's like, look, guys, I know who I am, but I need you guys to pull me in. And I need you guys, you know, to tell me when things are going too far or, you know, I'm not going far enough or something's not working or I need your honest opinion on these actors.
For every 5 yes, man, you need a no, man.
Exactly. And he didn't have that. And you even see that in that documentary that I brought up earlier where he's going through the 2 or 3 actors he has picked for Anakin as a kid. And everybody just goes along with whatever George says in the meeting. And as soon as George walks out the room, the cameras are still rolling. Then everybody in the room decides they're going to give their 10 cents. Mm-hmm. You know, then they decide they're going to say, well, I like this kid, but I like that kid. But, you know, then there's a difference in opinion. But before that, they were just all on board with whatever George was saying and kissing his ass. So it's like that was the problem, is that even though that's what he was probably searching for was people's opinions on these matters, you know, and that's what he's
sensitive. It's going to take a lot of tact to tell him, hey, you know, you might have want to go this way instead of that, or, you know.
Well, and that's just it, you know, and George is known to be a fickle guy. Okay. Yeah. You know, there's a group of former employees known as banned from the ranch because they pissed George off in a stupid little way. And they got banned from the ranch. You know, it's like, and they still worked with George, but he wouldn't allow them. He wouldn't allow them
to buy the house.
He's a very fickle, kind of weird. He's been described as a cold fish by people who love him. So I mean, just listen to like George. Just listen to Harrison Ford talk about George Lucas once, and that guy's worked with him for how many movies now? So I mean, and he's even said some stuff about the guy that you're just like, damn. You know, it's like
I think 7, 8 movies, maybe.
Yeah. He's like,
yeah.
he's just a cold fish. He's not good with actors. This is Harrison Ford saying this shit. He was like, you can type this shit, but you can't say it. George don't understand that as an actor. He thinks you can just turn it on. And that's exactly pretty much what Harrison Ford said. He's like, you can just turn it on with a switch as far as George is concerned. He doesn't get it that humans are actors and they need to be fed from the director. They need something to work off of. And George just isn't that guy.
That's why
That's why having like an actor's director, would be better for at least helping the actors get, what George wants to convey. Yeah, like he
Direction,
just has, faster,
basically.
more intense.
George has. I was just gonna say he has one direction, and that is faster and more intense. That's the only thing he would tell everybody.
And that's not enough. That's not enough. But anyways,
some people are monitor directors. Have you ever heard of the Kevin Smith method? Well, he just, okay, look at what you just said on the monitor. You see that? Well, I need you to stand over here instead of over there, and you see how it came off dry or whatever. Well,
yeah.
You see what you did, try to make what you did better.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think George did that. He kept it all secret, probably.
Yeah, Kevin's a good example of somebody who's not good technically with the camera, but he's really good with the actors. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what really, really matters. I guess more than, it's story over aesthetic. That's what I always say. It's story over the aesthetic. You can have like a great story, but if it like looks bad, like, okay, sure, it looks bad. It might not be, as watchable, but if there's something there, you could still fix it. You can fix the aesthetics. But if the story sucks,
happy or angry, you should be able to connect with the actor. If you're happy with him, but you should be able to connect, get him to know what you're feeling, get that rapport. It's like, no, this is wrong. You're doing this bad. This is good. You're doing this good. You got to have that connection. If he's just like faster and more intense, that's you know what I'm saying. That's not direction. That's just
Will. That is exactly correct. Well, to give a good performance, an actor has to feel the character. If they don't feel it, 5% of the time, you can tell in the performance. When someone's just phoning it in, yeah, for a paycheck, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Happens a lot.
And I would say Harrison did not do that. I don't think. Did you notice that in The Force Awakens? Was he just phoning it in? I don't think so.
He was a little annoyed. He looked a little annoyed, but I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
No, actually, I think I pointed out at the time he was the most animated he's been on film in years. So
yeah,
because
because he does phone it in on other stuff they'll do like a fly by night, I don't know, a little comedy here and there, and you can see some like great actors just phoning it in just terribly. I think he did okay. He looked like a grumpy old man. Yeah, he pulled it off completely.
We literally have one more paragraph left, and then we can carry on that. But it was JJ. God, why? JJ, who's JJ Abrams?
I don't know.
Rian Johnson, and perhaps most importantly, Kathleen Kennedy, that got what worked in Star Wars and improved it, diversified it, and democratized.
Democratized. No, that's not how that word works.
What? Their films weren't made just to sell toys or tell dry, unmoving backstory.
Yeah, but you can't democratize
to inspire audiences, all audiences, and that's why, by my reckoning, they're better than anything that came before. Damn it, Jessica! You need to seriously just
you need to be
read your article and
grammar.
Correct it, please. Please, just so it won't give me a headache. I would greatly appreciate that.
I'll say what I'll agree. Well, I won't agree with her. I'll say one thing to conclude this article for us.
Mm-hmm.
These movies definitely. No, actually, I am agreeing with her. These movies definitely weren't made to sell merchandise.
Yeah, they were made to sell an agenda.
Well, no, I'm just saying that. Then they're failing to sell merchandise, so they obviously weren't made for that.
No, they failed. You're absolutely right. They failed completely. I think if you go to an abandoned Toys R Us, the only thing you'll find is roast Ticos.
Well, that's just because Rian Johnson said, JJ basically destroyed Star Trek and couldn't sell toys over there. Well, watch this. Here, hold my beer kind of thing. No, but seriously, there's an article. I don't know if it's on the Mary Sue or where it came from, but another one of these little millennial writers. And I don't get me wrong, not all in that age group are the same, because even proper, you You're one of the more well-informed young people that I know. And it's like, I mean, what the fuck? This article that I just read here, and I don't have it with me. I was going to try and send it to you. I can't find it. I just tried finding it, but
What is it about?
She had just seen Alien for the first time.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And she was like freaking out about the fact that Ripley was such a well done character. It's like, duh, we've all been saying this for so long.
Where have you been?
It's like, you guys don't get it. There's always been powerful female characters, and one of them's about to be destroyed. Sarah Connor, for that matter. It's like, go watch Terminator now that you just watched that, and tell me you're looking forward.
I don't know. The new posters for Terminator. That Terminator looks like Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, here's the problem: is nobody's thinking about it, and I brought this up a few times, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I haven't even thought about that." They're basically making Sarah Connor a failure just so they can put this new savior up on a pedestal. So they've destroyed the one of the greatest mothers next to Pamela Voorhees in cinema history.
Next to Pamela Voorhees.
Will you argue with me that there's a better mother than Pamela Voorhees or Sarah Connor? Come on.
Better mother than Pamela Voorhees.
Norman Bates' mom?
No, his mom screwed him up. But no, seriously, would your mom have killed for you? That's my point. All right. So,
you know what? I can't argue with that.
That's my point. She may have been batshit crazy, but she was one of the best damn mothers there ever was.
Yep.
Oh,
God. The
God.
apocalypse.
You just changed.
But all joking aside, they're going to ruin the fact that Sarah Connor was not only one of the greatest mothers in cinema history, one of the greatest female, strong female characters in cinema history.
Mrs.
Because
Doubtfire.
All right,
Johnny
you
Fire.
trumped me on that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hello. That's tough.
Because he is better other than Sally Field's character. You got a good point there, Johnny Five. But I do love that Avatar because I do have a soft spot for Short Circuit. But anyway.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Five is alive.
Johnny Five. Yes. But yeah, that's my it's these people that are like fighting for all this diversity and woman power in these movies is like, we've been trying to tell you guys for years, there already is, and you're destroying them by doing all this crap. Look at what they've done to Leia so far. Look at
Mary Poppins. Spooks. They just need, I think Ryan Johnson just had to take the spoonful of sugar, didn't he? He just had to do that. He had to go there. Oh God. It's just really, I didn't even think about that when you're talking about like the new Terminator movie, how they are, once again, putting down the old characters to elevate the new, just like that's not creative. That's just destroying something that's just beautiful and that you don't need to do. It's not necessary. And not only that, but John Connor is, I guess he's going to be in it. I forgot the actor's name, but he's the kid from T2.
Edward Furlong, yeah.
Yeah, Edward Furlong.
The kid, the kid from T2?
I heard he was just going to be in a flashback, though. So, and they're retconning his character. Why? Because he's a white man?
Yep, that's what it's all about.
Patriarchal white male. Why? Like,
instead of going with what Cameron initially had set up in his original ending for Terminator 2, where John went on to have a daughter in the future that Judgment Day didn't happen. You could have just stretched it out and said, "Oh, Judgment Day got, extended. Well, now they've got a kid and it's his daughter." You could just done it that way. You didn't have to make. Okay, because spoilers, guys. John Connor's going to probably die in the first 5 minutes of this movie. Guarantee it, because every spoiler we reported on has been solidified with every single trailer coming out, and they keep they supposedly leaked that Edward Furlong is in this movie. That is a big misdirection. There is some kid who's sitting in for Edward Furlong, and then they're basically deep faking Edward Furlong's face over his is what they're doing.
I don't understand why they would do that, though.
Because the movie picks up like not too long after Terminator 2.
The males must be destroyed. White look.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you. I say this often, and I say it usually in 200 words because I like to be able to put it in the chat. But I'm just going to say it in my voice. Anybody that knows me has probably heard it before. White reproducing males are being leveraged out of media and administration. Their privilege is being checked. Their patriarchal inheritance is to be redistributed as the Nazis did to the Jews. That's how it went. That's what they're trying to do. You might like it, you might not like it, but it's what's literally happening before your eyes. And we can play and think this is about Star Wars, and we can play and think this is about Terminator, and we can play and think about aliens. But if you look at the history of what is being done to people over racial reasons, that's what's going on. I mean, I'm black like my father before me, but I ain't down for that.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, really.
It is.
Well, and it's patronizing too. That's the
Yeah.
other side of it. That's the problem.
I-
And go ahead.
I'll be completely honest with this whole movie. I agree with you that John Connor's going to get killed off instantly. They're setting that up, and they're not really even being sort of what's the word?
They're not being coy about it at all. No.
Yeah.
And not being very discreet.
To be honest, it's like that's real. The thing that pisses me off, arguably, about this is that they defeat Skynet, and then they bring out a budget Skynet. They could have done so much. They could have done so many things.
Didn't they make a Skynet an app at some point?
Oh yeah, they did. Well, I don't think that's canon anymore, thankfully, because that was dumb.
Well, they recanonize it every other Terminator movie. Like, oh, this is the proper Terminator 3. No, this one is. Just like James Cameron, shut the hell up and just make Avatar 2 already.
Well,
and
Salvation
move
was
on.
actually more of a sequel to Terminator 3. So that you could say there is the 4 movies in the original series, and then Genesis came in and tried to reboot everything. And now they're trying to do the same thing again retroactively. The Genesis did, only differently.
Okay.
That's annoying. Just pick one.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I'm like
people will-
1 and 2. That's it. Those are my movies.
yeah, I don't know if
City
anybody's
is,
going to go see this or not because the interest does not seem to really be out there. Like
I
we
don't want
haven't
to.
even. We've had some people do some polls in the Fandom Menace community that I've seen recently in some other places, and just in general, like when we get demand for certain things that are coming out that we haven't covered much, Terminator just really isn't getting the demand.
Yeah, but some of us follow the Doomcock logic. Is like, look, without respect, we reject. And I mean, the way they're marketing this, they're not respectful. So I'll just let. I mean, it's fine if reviewers like yourself go see it. I wouldn't hate on you. It's your money. It's your J.O. biscuit. That's how you're putting your money on the table. Yeah, you go see it, pay for it. I don't. That's all.
Well, I've actually.
But I'm glad that you see it, so I don't have to.
I've been lucky that some of my screenings lately haven't cost me. So for the most part, that part I don't
thank
have to
God.
gripe about. But sometimes it does, and this one I probably will because I haven't had any opportunities arise yet. But point is, it's right in the trailer, and I think that's what's going to kill its momentum from the start. And it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna open very big. If it makes more than 30 million, I'll be surprised, and everybody's their jaws are gonna drop on this one.
And I think they're just going to blame because you're intimidated by women or you hate women. That's why you don't like the movie. That's why the movie flopped.
By the way,
All
if there's
that
any
lovely
doubt, Reason Today is one of Mike Miller's sock puppet accounts.
Hmm?
Oh, just someone trolling in the chat. Never mind. Leave him. Let him talk.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. At any rate, yeah. I don't understand it. It's just, to me, it's just a mess. Just an absolute mess.
Yep.
Everything. Oh my gosh. I don't even. Guys, maybe we're just not woke enough. We're not woke enough. Maybe that's it.
If we're not woke enough, I don't want to be woke.
And actually, I'm giving it a lot of credit if it does more than 30 million because Genesis opened at 27 million. Didn't even make 100 million in the US. How does a movie not make 100 million like that anymore? That's just crazy.
That's an abysmal failure.
Yeah, it sounds like a bomb. How much did it cost to make?
155 million, made 89 in the US. But here's the thing: Arnold's huge in other countries. It made 350 million in other areas. So, right. I mean, the problem with that though is I'm sure that there were so many different production companies involved with this, so they probably pre-sold it or something overseas. So they probably didn't see much of that. I mean,
Hammer says maybe we're not asleep enough.
I don't know if Sarah Connor's enough of a draw. I really don't. What do you guys think on that?
I think we've had many great female leads. I mean, Ellen Ripley is a great female lead. Leia was basically in charge. I don't know if I call her a lead, but that was definitely an ensemble experience. There are great female leads out there. The problem is that these females are about, smashing down males. It's not about working together. Like, as a species, men and women work best together, no matter who they do what with, in the bedroom. We come together, we do great things. These people have an agenda about division of women versus men. And that's what we're seeing now that's different from before.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, I mean, you could even take it as far back as, The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy, Glinda the Good Witch, you had the Wicked Witch of the West.
That she wasn't good. She wasn't good. She just wanted those shoes. You have to see Cecil's.
Oh, I know. But
okay. Yeah, if you think about it, Glenda's kind of a bitch. She could have told her right from the start. All you gotta do is click her heels, and you can go home right now. Oh no, she makes her walk that damn road all the way to the Wizard of Oz, deal with all that crap, just so she could kill the witch for her. Because she didn't want to have to be the one to kill her sister. That's all.
Cecil did a video on this that I think it's very short.
But I can imagine.
My grandparents reacted to that video, and that's going to be released next week. And I'm very much looking forward to that. They were the preview, the trailer for it. It's just like 30 seconds long. You can check that out right after you watch this live stream. Definitely. It was very interesting. My grandma was just like horrified. She's just like, oh, how could he say this about The Wizard of Oz? Like,
But he's not wrong though.
He's like, how do you ruin a perfectly good movie, like, and just destroy it? I'm just like, well, it's his job. Like, people subscribe to his channel.
Should see his take on ET too. He has like, why this guy can float 4 people on bicycles, but he couldn't get back to the ship because he has short legs. He could have just floated back to his ship. How'd he get stuck?
I don't know. And then Indiana Jones just ruining that too. It's just like he's stealing this guy's the Cross of Coronado. He's stealing it. Oh gosh.
It's not his.
Oh man. Jeez.
But yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. But there are great female leads, and if we're looking at society, I mean, men and women work well together, no matter who they share a bedroom with.
Oh,
right.
exactly.
I just meant more so. Do you think that, considering they haven't used the character in this long, knowing what most people do about the fact that this movie is supposed to be all woke, do you think Sarah Connor's enough to get butts in the seats?
Nope.
I don't know. I think most people are excited for Arnold, if anything, because it's friggin' Arnold Schwarzenegger. But people are excited for Sarah Connor to come back. She wasn't in any of the other movies afterwards, I don't think.
Not after South Park and, China and all this stuff. People are just getting anti-woke. It's not cool anymore. And once it's not cool, people don't want to be like, well, I don't want to be uncool. And all this woke stuff, people are just not buying it anymore.
Right. And I think this is a good point where we can leave it off here, because this is, oh my gosh. We could, if you want to entertain the idea of... This is actually something that I found to be absolutely hilarious, and I would like to share it with you guys. It'll be the last thing that we do today. Let's take a test, a quiz of how woke we are.
This sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. Think you're truly woke? Time to put your money where your mouth is. Take our definitive wokeness quiz and find out once and for all if you're super woke or just plain toxic. Wokeness is, oh gosh. Well, let's go with it. A movie comes out including representation for all races. How do you respond? Applaud the filmmaker's diversity and enjoy the movie? Complain about lack of representation for LGBT people? Yell, stay in your lane, whitey, whenever a white person comes on the screen? Or scream at the sky? I'm going to complain about the lack of representation.
Well, all of them sound like things social justice warriors would do, especially that screaming at the sky thing.
Oh, yeah. President Trump says something reasonable. What do? Applaud him? Blame it on the Russians? Take to the streets to protest while wearing a genital-themed hat? Or scream at the sky?
Scream at the sky.
Yeah.
Pussy hats.
Well,
Pussy
I would
hats
go
are
with the
wearing-
general hat, but I'm a war campaign.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with that one. You see a man opening a door for a woman. What do you do? Continue about your day as though you didn't just witness an egregious violation of her womanhood. Lecture him on his problematic behavior. Beat him to death with your well-worn copy of The Feminine Mystique, or scream at the sky.
I can't. I can't tell if this is actually serious or just a joke.
I don't think you can read that and be able to beat someone to death, so I'm gonna go with 2.
You want to lecture him on his problematic behavior?
Scream,
What do you
Hey,
Or scream at the sky.
Screaming at the sky sounds good.
That
Okay.
would be that's a reference to the chick that lost her shit when Trump was elected, right?
You know what? If he screams at the sky, he can feel brave, but nobody actually thinks he did anybody or anything or understand what's going on.
Okay. You come upon a Bible passage that contradicts your worldview. How do you exegete it? I think I'm pronouncing that right. Modify your worldview to the text and repent of your wrong thinking. Reinterpret the text in light of your worldview. Come out with your heretical views in a softball online interview, then claim you're being persecuted for your opinion, or throw the book in the trash, then scream at the sky.
I've seen 3 go around a lot.
Oh yeah, screaming. Yeah.
No, number.
You do
come
realize
out with
that this is-
heretical views in a softball interview and then claim you're being persecuted. I've seen it, but from the other side.
I'm getting the question, the answers now. This is a joke. That's why it's Babylon. B.
That's why it's fun.
Yeah, it's a funny. Yeah. So the
I mean,
proper answer would be, of course, come out with your heretical views in a softball online interview and then claim you're being persecuted for your opinion.
but
That, of
gets you
course, is
fame.
the correct answer.
I'd throw the book in the trash, then scream at the sky, just because
Well,
it's the funniest thing to me.
That's for those who need to be in a safe
But that has
space.
no grift. Number 3 has grift.
Yeah. If you know the right answers here, you could be as woke as fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Oh well, I'll choose number 3 then. A coworker.
Is that the way you want to come out? As woke as hell? Oh yeah.
Probably. A coworker says good morning to you as you sit down at your desk. What do you say back? Good morning. Excuse me, I did not consent to this conversation. Good day.
I like that one.
How possibly be a good morning when women only make 77 cents on the dollar?
Ooh,
You
this is a
pig.
tough one.
Excuse yourself, walk down to the parking lot and then scream at the sky. What do you choose?
This is your level of woke here, folks.
They made these scream at the sky ones pretty funny, actually.
Yes.
No, I think to scream out the sky because I think there's probably a vending machine on the way.
2 or 3 is probably the correct answer, but yeah.
Which one? I'm gonna let.
Any,
I'm gonna
mini,
let you
miny,
decide.
mo.
I think the second one was magic.
They're both so damn good. Yeah, that's the
Number
problem.
3 seems pretty solid.
Yeah, 2. Is that what you said?
2? Is that what we're going with?
Oh, I picked the last one. You guys go.
I'm
Thug
picking
Life.
2.
I didn't catch what Thug Life said, but yeah.
I'm picking 2 then.
Okay.
You get a $1,500 tax refund check from the IRS. What do you do with the money? Take the family to Cracker Barrel, maybe put the rest in savings. Okay. Mail it right back.
Sounds-
You don't you know that tax cuts kill people? Send the money to minorities to assuage your white guilt.
Oh, no, that ain't happening.
Hurl the check towards the heaven, then scream at the sky. You almost got to redo it and just pick that one just to see what the outcome of that is. But no, the right answer here
I'm
is
just doubting
again,
they're getting that kind of tax refund on mine.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Who gets 15,000? 15. Yeah, I want their tax refund. $1,500. Shit, yeah.
That'd be great. I haven't even had that much.
Mail it right
Jeez.
back or send the money. One of those two. It's 2 or 3 is
Which
always
one?
the answer. I don't know. How woke is you?
What do you guys think in the chat?
I like the white guilt. I like the white guilt one. That's what I'm picking.
You like that?
3. I'm picking
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
go
I think
for
they
three.
can press like 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the chat. See which one they like best, right?
Yep. We'll do that with one of the last ones.
Cool.
I think because, yeah. Or maybe this one. A cisgendered male is driving along the street and you walk down the sidewalk. What is the proper course of action? Smile and wave, glare at him, then run back into your house to write about how badly he oppressed you on your Tumblr account. Begin pounding on his window and scream, "Stay in your lane, Whitey!" or leap in front of the car as a metaphor for how oppressed you are, then scream at the sky as you wait for help to arrive.
Oh my god.
This is one of the best quizzes I've ever taken.
I love it.
Again, I think screaming at the sky is probably the funniest answer in this.
Like I said, you almost got to redo it and pick that one for everyone just to see the outcome.
Yeah.
Just to see what it says. I'm sure it's somebody like you're a sheltered woke person or something like that who has to have a safe space or something. I'm imagining.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of 4s in the chat.
Well,
mostly.
I
You
know
like
why.
that?
go for it then.
All
It's up
right.
to you. That's what they picked.
Oh gosh. An ethnic food restaurant opens in your city. What do you do? Try it out and keep patronizing it if I have a good experience? Protest the restaurant's blatant cultural appropriation? Protest the restaurant for not giving away all of its food for free in a Marxist business model? Or scream at the sky?
I can go with 2 on this one.
Oh
Mm,
god. I think 1 or 2. 3 seems a bit too logical for social justice warriors.
1's too logical as well. One is I've noticed. 1 is the answer normal people would give. That I've figured that out by now. Is like the pretty normal answer. Yeah.
All right, what do you guys think in the chat? You think 2, 3 is good? People are saying scream.
See, 2 and 3 is going to make you a raging wokeaholic.
yeah.
And like I said, the 4th answer is going to probably make you like either like closeted, whatever.
3 is like you don't really care about the restaurant. You're just there to give a lecture on economics.
Well, that's like the hipster, like
Yep.
hippie movement that's out there now. Like everything should be free. You know, like their idea of protesting.
I like my iPhone. I don't want an Obama phone.
The way that they're protesting like pollution is by blocking traffic for blocks on end and causing a buttload more pollution in the process.
Oh God! Oh, this is hilarious. We're having this is a great way to end this. All right, so most people in the chat are saying 3. So okay, we'll go with 3.
All right, we'll go with 3.
Okay, this is
You're the
answer.
minimal acceptance of
You are at the
wokeness.
minimum acceptable level of
Do
wokeness.
better, fam. Take the
You're-
quiz.
Yep, you're
Okay, take the
pretty
quiz
woke.
again and pick 4 on every one of them now. Let's just see.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Why don't you
try-
try screaming at the sky more?
One little slip up and the left will eat you alive. Better get woker. Why don't you try screaming at the sky more?
Maybe
All
I'm
right,
wrong.
let's do it.
Screaming at the sky might be the woke one.
I think so. Maybe it's a trap.
When in doubt, scream at the sky.
Yeah, just pick scream at the sky for all of them for this one, real quick. Go through it. Throw the desk. Scream at the sky. Scream at the sky.
You've arrived at woke.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
You are the most woke that is currently possible. Unfortunately, you'll never really be woke enough. You still have to trip over yourself every day trying to show everyone how woke you are. Or one day you'll be back at the bottom of the totem pole. I almost wonder what they say about like the first one.
When in doubt, go for the funniest.
Yeah, go for the fun one. Yeah, go for the first one, and I bet you it'll be like
supremacist.
you are a racist bigot.
You're not woke at all.
Is that you?
Trump, is that you? You're not woke at all. Go educate yourself and do better.
Hashtag do better. Hashtag do better.
Oh my God, that was just great. That was beautiful. Tommy says, "Excuse me, all. I have to go outside and scream for a bit." Already booking my tick. Oh gosh, never woke enough, says Frank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan. What's up, Frank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan? How you guys doing? Oh my gosh, Johnny Five says, "I'm so woke. I have sand in my eyes." What?
Jesus.
Well, it does get everywhere.
New
Oh,
Year's
you got
Revolution.
that contraction from Clockwork Orange to keep your eyes open.
If you pick 4 on everything, it says "Welcome to Woke City." Oh, you took it. Oh, pollution is caused by smoking weed.
This is true.
Oh my God.
Hey,
Oh, I
come
thought
on
it said
now.
evolution, not
Not my
pollution.
fault.
Never
Oh,
mind, my
they said
bad.
evolution. Oh,
I thought that's what he said.
yes, it causes evolution, I guess.
Yes, it does.
Oh wow. Anyways, we're gonna sign off here in a second, but I want to thank each and every single one of you who came to the chat, who gave a super chat, like this, subscribe to the channel, and thank you all so much. And commenting, this has been a lot of fun, and it's great that we got to have a good laugh at the end. And first and foremost, I would like to thank Sketch, Shellback, Thug Like Mario, Jack from earlier, and of course Tom from Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After
It's
Dark.
been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yep.
No, he's Midnight's Edge Jeremy.
For now, I am.
He is a Jeremy. Anybody
I
can be
like
a
that.
Jeremy and come on this stream as long as you have.
I even tried to
Jeremy.
find a disembodied Jeremy head real quick, and I couldn't. But I'm sure you guys got like 20 of them. You'll send
There's
me
probably a
after the show.
Discord with like Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What about Captain Picard, Jeremy?
Oh,
Has there been a Captain Picard, Jeremy? Old
I
Man
have
Picard,
no
Jeremy?
idea. Oh gosh.
Or Captain Picard Dune Buggy, Jeremy?
Oh,
Anyways,
geez.
tell the people. We'll start with Tom. Tell the people what you got going on, man.
Oh, well, we just dropped a video just before this about Star Wars, so you might want to go check that out on the main channel. And then I'm working on a Rob's Rant. Hopefully, I'll have that up here in a little bit on the After Dark channel. So,
all right, and thank you for popping in the stream. I appreciate it.
absolutely, it's been a pleasure, man. It's an honor to be among the Jeremies.
Absolutely, man. Welcome to the Jeremy.
One of us.
Yeah.
Conform.
I salute
And
you.
of course, we
Resistance
have
is repel.
indeed. We have Sketch, also known as Puerto Rican Jeremy. Sketch, tell the people what you got going on.
Well, I used to do a lot of sketching. I do sketching kind of as a therapy. I got a traumatic brain injury in the old noggin when I was in the infantry. But right now, what I've been doing is clips. I take clips from Comicsgate. I do some interviews. I had an interview with Watermelon Platypus. Actually, I've had a few. I think I did the third one a few days ago. I'd love to have him as co-host more often. I'm always looking for a co-host. If any of you guys want to pop in, you see me live, I'll probably bring you on. And we just discuss comics, movies. We discuss anything, really. I'm just open for any subject. And, you know, I know a little bit about the lore of the Fandom Menace, the lore of Comicsgate. I am, I don't know, I guess you'd call me a warlord of the war campaign. But, you know, I'm a very independent person, very independent-minded. And, yeah, it's always fun to have a conversation. I'll never be afraid of a conversation. You can always pop on by, speak your mind.
And then, of course, we have Shellback TJC, also known as Hallmark Channel Jeremy. Tell the people what you got going on, Mr. Turtle.
Today I am throwing a 200 subscriber celebration stream in about 45 minutes.
All right, awesome. Woohoo! Oh, is that it?
That sounds great. That sounds great. I'm sure that people will be glad to talk to you there. And yeah, I'll try to pass by.
Yeah, congratulations, man. I'm going to be in there for a little bit for sure.
Glad to see you got there.
Really excited. And of course, last but certainly not least, my lovely co-host for the Council of Jeremys, Thug Life, Mario. Also, I want to thank Force Ghost Jeremy for popping in earlier. Thank you.
And George Augustus Helpful Jeremy.
Yep, him as well. So Spartan.
Well, I'm not in a position where I can really make YouTube content. I appreciate being able to come on here when I can. Life gets in the way on occasion. I'm working on a science fiction project of my own because I'm tired of Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, and what have you treating us like shit when all we want is when all we really want is just to enjoy it. So that's all that.
All right.
Then I owe you a chip, Tom.
All right. And I, of course, my name is Proper Jeremy. I've been your host for the Council of Jeremys and and the host for This Week in Bullshit. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. Everyone who's liked, subscribed, commented, even disliked. Love you all. Love your faces. And we will see you all next time of the month once again. Thank you all so much. And live long and proper. And as always, have a great day.